Hello, everyone, and the Black Abyss. Why, Cohh, why are you the Black Abyss today? What's going on?
I see my camera perfectly in the preview, so I don't know what to tell you. Did you do something funky the last time I was on? Or not?
Well, that
on,
was about,
Wait.
by my count, I think that was 3 months ago right now. So,
well, 4.5 months.
Well, to be fair, Cohh could just be sitting in a really dark room.
He could be.
I could.
He could be.
It's true.
Yeah.
No, real talk. Do I need to reload or something?
I don't know.
I see myself fine in the preview.
Yeah,
so.
I see you fine in the preview too. I don't know. Let's just see if we can get what is this gonna do? Nothing. Here, I'll just we'll just do the intro like normal, and then I'll work at the same time. Hey Ziz, welcome to the show. How's it going? Glad to have you here.
Good. A little bit sick still, but mostly over it. And yeah, thank you so much for having me.
Obviously everyone's playing PoE 2 right now. You've got access to it. All the other content creators I've seen have access to it on Twitter. There's guides and everything out right now. What's going on?
Oh, I see we are going to talk about this. Okay.
What's happening right now? Yeah, how's it going?
So for the last 6 months, I've been like borderline harassing GGG and being like, please don't give content creators access to the game. We borderline have to say yes. But like, and when I've asked any other content creator, they're like, yeah, we don't want it. We don't want it. Get them to not give it to us.
Sure.
So I'm like, most of us, everyone I asked don't want access. So I've been like spamming them, like, please don't do content creator early access. And yeah, I like, it seems to be mostly focused on like traditional media. And they have a rule not to make guides or content. It's supposed to be for reviews. So unless your name is Extra Life, most people seem to be adhering to that.
And I think just to add, one of the big problems is we now live in this day and age where content creation and traditional media have blurred. So now you essentially have content creators who come. Oh God, why am I echoing?
You're not anymore. Sorry, I'm doing too many things at once. Please continue.
Are we good?
Yeah.
I'm gonna wait because I don't want to. Okay, chat, we're good. Can I get some?
Good.
Okay, good. Okay. So what's happened is we've now entered this age where like traditional media used to be professionals. They would double check embargoes. They would be sure not to get them. If they thought about, like, they were a lot better at it. Let's be real.
Yes.
But now we live in this day and age where content creators are now blurring the line between traditional media and content creation. So for those that don't know, what essentially happened is one of these blurred line organizations that most of Twitch knows about for various reasons, called FX for Life, they released a whole bunch of information on PoE 2 way before embargo. And it was up for a while, and then they had to, of course, take it down. Now, of course, everyone was like, well, we know the history of this website, like literally just scummy practice after scummy practice after scummy practice, low quality guides. Like they're known for this. They have a reputation for this.
Yeah.
So everyone, of course, jumped all over them. What are you doing, you assholes? You've ruined yet another thing. Please just leave everything related gaming forever. No one wants you here. However, just to add confusion, GGG then goes public saying we did give copies to people. It was specifically for reviews, not for making any guides. And then the part that's just like, is they then said that it was their fault.
Which, yeah, I don't know
Extra
why
Life released it early.
That's weird.
And the thing is, even if it was, if you have something like PoE 2, and I do this all the time, you always double check embargoes. It is not a situation where you put it out and ask forgiveness. That's the worst thing you can do. So, like, there's in my mind, there's absolutely no question that something was told to them that was a gray area, and instead of them confirming it, they just went with it because they knew that if something went wrong, that they would have to qualify, they would have to claim the ownership.
Yeah.
So,
yeah,
and the worst part about this, the worst part is they just made a video a month ago complaining about not getting a review key for Dragon Age.
Yeah.
And it's like, you're going to be the one that breaks the next big...
I forgot about that. That's right. You're totally right. They did do
my
that.
God. It is just like, it's just like I have to say this. If any professional company is looking at this situation and considering continuing to give them keys, that is an uninformed decision.
Yeah.
Now, it gets better than that because in the tweet where GGG does take some responsibility for what went wrong, they also say that, like, these are for review copies. They're not allowed to make guides or walkthroughs. On the Facts for Life wiki, there is a full walkthrough for PoE 2 up already.
Yeah, that went live this
It's now
morning,
been
right?
like, it's been hacked or something. It's been removed and deleted now, but
Yeah, I saw that one live this morning.
Dude, somebody just said this in chat, and I couldn't agree more with them. If Bex was still there, this wouldn't have happened.
Probably.
And I'm probably right. Because there's been numerous huge releases and huge information dumps that she has managed, and we've never seen this before. And this was egregiously like, oof.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's probably true. That's probably true. Bex is best in class, without a doubt.
Bex is actually, I don't know if you guys know this, she's actually a goat. Not even the goat. She's so goat, she's just a goat.
It's true. It's true. Yeah. Yeah, so that's that. I guess that's kind of the drama for it. I guess the other question I have, and I'm glad, Ziz, you're the perfect person to answer this. The other day, I saw a handful of creators that were able to download it, but what was that? Was that just early access? Was I completely wrong that they were doing it, or?
I haven't heard anything about that. It could be like a pre-download thing for Xbox or something.
What are you talking about?
It's the Xbox preload.
Oh, okay. That's what it was. It was Xbox preload. Okay.
And a lot of people are worried that people would be able to data mine through that.
That's what, yes. DS Lily is whose tweet I saw, and she was downloading the Xbox, or had an image where there was the Xbox download occurring, and people were talking about data mining it. Yeah. So that sucks. Hopefully we can make it till Friday.
Real quick, if I may, like, just ask us a quick question. I've always said Fextra Life.
I think it is. I think it's Fextra Life, but it's more fun to say F Extra Life.
One of the people who runs it is named Fex, Fex.
Ah.
Oh, really? Okay.
So I think that's where the thing is.
Okay.
It's not for the record, and a lot of people don't understand.
Clarify.
FX for Life is, or Fex, whatever. They're a company. There are a couple of like faces, because back when they were scamming the Twitch directories, they had a couple people that were like on it regularly, but it's a company based out of China, I want to say, or it's based out of somewhere in the West, I believe. But yeah, it's not a person.
Yeah, it's definitely a group.
Yep.
So, yeah, hopefully got it. I feel like it's reaching a fever pitch right now with the PoE excitement. What's that?
Just got an interesting question real quick. Somebody said, what exactly is data mining? What they're talking about is the fact that because of the preload, they can pull down the data of the game. The preload is basically all the files that are going to be unlocked when the game goes live, but a lot of times it's not necessarily encrypted. So data mining is when people access that data, go inside and pull out the information. So there's a possibility, for instance, that talented enough hacker, I guess you'd call them, would be able to take that preload and pull out all of the stats on the new skill gems, all of their cooldowns, all of their damage, all the stuff that people are anxiously awaiting to see on December 6th could be potentially mined from this data before. Now, chat is saying it's encrypted. Great. And hopefully that's the case. But again, sometimes this stuff can be circumvented. It's happened in the past. So, we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
I don't know about this case though. Maybe this is, and I don't know if this has been confirmed. Maybe this is encrypted, to a point where they can't do that. I don't know. But,
I don't know.
Yeah, and like me and Steele were talking about this, but like we called it off stream, and we were like, how great is it that we don't know anything? Like we're sitting here, like we're reacting for the first time to everything. We don't know what builds are going to be strong. We know nothing, and it's so nice because for me as a gamer, a big pain point was the Diablo 4 launch. When I watched videos like a few days before launch, where creators were like, guys, the game comes out in less than 5 days. I have over 1,000 hours in the game already. And I'm like, bro.
Yeah. But here's where I say the reason that I think it would benefit GGG to do that is so many people are going to open up Path of Exile 2 for the first time and want a guide and not have it and bounce off the game because of that. So they're like, from a business point of view, I feel like people will just wait a day or two.
We'll see.
Till Ziz comes out and is like, you should do this. And then everyone's going to jump on that.
But there's solutions for that.
I don't know, man. Yeah, and also we have seen kind of a revival in the new player experience in this game. So, I mean,
Yeah.
there's a huge amount that is so much friendlier for new players in PoE 2, just from what we've seen.
Sure.
And I mean, there could be entire other mechanisms, things that we haven't seen yet.
Yeah.
They've
Yeah.
also made it incredibly easy to respec. So, like, I think there's a lot of things that would lead it to hopefully those players.
Well,
Way to get air too.
You-
What's up, Sis?
well, you did say very easy to respec. There is one thing I'm curious how you guys feel about this. Respecing is seemingly generally easier, but ascendancy is now a permanent choice.
Yeah.
Which, in my interview tomorrow with Jonathan, that is definitely something I'm going to push back a little bit on. I'm very against it, because it's a choice
God.
you make very early. So to make a permanent choice that early, I think is very rough.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
I would agree too. That's right.
I don't know how. I mean, I guess I hope they don't introduce a currency for it, but I hope you could like run it again, and every time you go to ascend, you can do something to respec your point. I don't know.
Yep.
They might have a philosophy for why they don't want to do that. So I'll be interested to hear his answer tomorrow when you ask him. But
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, that'll be interesting to hear.
I think that there's a lot of stuff, a lot of changes just across the board from that whole like 2-hour unveil that they had. That because it's launching into early access, they're going to be able to be like, all right, that was a mistake. We're going to change it
Sure.
to do this. We really like this. We're going to change everything else to kind of work like that. But it's a pretty big shakeup, I think, for everything. And most of it is good. There's still a lot of things where I'm just like, I don't know what that's going to do. I don't know how that's going to work. But sure, let's just see what happens.
Yeah.
So I had a question a bit ago, and I wanted to ask this about this. You said that you were happy that content creators, for the most part, aren't getting like any early looks or early access and stuff like that. And I'm curious as to why that is.
That's a great question. I do
Thank
feel
you.
like
Do this for a
content
lot.
creators to some degree have ruined gaming. Like, there's been benefits too, but like I loved that like era when I was growing up, and there wasn't guides everywhere, right? There wasn't like a full walkthrough for every game, where there were literal helplines if you got stuck, right? You'd have to call in and be like, "Hey, can you like walk me through this part of the game? I'm really stuck," or you'd
I
have to
remember.
talk to your friends. And I think content creators to some degree have removed that. But also, as a content creator, part of the reason why I'm happy is it creates such a different dynamic for me with my audience. With whether I'm seeing something for the first time and I get to genuinely have that, like, oh my god, I just got one hit, or like I just a smackdown, or seeing like a really cool thing for the first time, versus going in with like oh, wait till you guys see the next zone. It's so cool, it's so beautiful. You guys are gonna see something really special. Like, that's such a different vibe for me. And it also I think it, at least for some players, creates like a little bit of discontent with the content creators are above regular players. They get to see things earlier and be more of a special part of things. I really, it's part of why I'm against like pay to win in gaming too. I really like that in gaming we're gamers. We're equally as gamers. And I really like that.
Yeah, I echo what you said. It also doesn't happen all that often that a game, like a new game, comes out and it's not figured out a week before release, and so this is probably the
Yeah.
best possible chance to have that. Because I remember, like, even we're all playing. A lot of people are playing WoW Classic right now because of the hardcore stuff. But that was the only time that WoW wasn't solved, because
Yeah.
after that, every expansion, Wowhead or Thoughtbot or I forget the other website now, but they would data mine it, and so like everything when that expansion came out was already known, and it completely Alakazam, yeah, that was one of them. They
Dude,
all
I was using Alakazam for the first EverQuest expansion
Yeah,
for that
yeah.
stuff.
MMO Champion, that's the one that I was thinking
So-
of, visualizing in my mind. All that stuff was like, it was all out there. And so
Yeah.
hopefully we can make it till Friday and like none of that stuff is leaked.
Yeah, because like it gets solved so fast anyway, and it's so cool to have something spread like wildfire. Like, you guys need to see this build, and like everybody's thinking like, have you seen this? Or like, you guys need to see this new unique item. So back in the day of Path of Exile, I'm it's so long ago that I'm like 95% sure this is what happened. But like before there was data mining, they would have like added 7 new unique items to the game. And we would have to find them. We didn't know what it was beforehand. Now they just released like, we're adding these 7 new unique items to the game and we can see them before they come out.
Yeah.
But then it would be like, is this a new item? And people are like, no, it's an old item. And they're like, oh. So I don't know. It's the feeling of discovery is like the most fun about gaming for me. So
Mm-hmm.
And I gotta say, I would like the way you're talking about it reminded me of that weird Destiny expansion, Destiny 2 expansion. I don't know if it was how many years ago, months ago, whatever. But like the community came together and it was just a huge puzzle, and everybody was like sharing notes, and shit like that, and how like excited the people in Destiny got about it. So I get what you're saying now.
Yeah, there's definitely like a buzz and excitement level that can only happen once, and if all that stuff is leaked, like Ziz, you mentioned the D4 launch. Most recently it was the D4 expansion, right? Like, the week prior, there were videos that was like, this is the best guide for Spiritborn, and this is the strongest build, and Spiritborns are X% better than every other class, and like they were right? Like I think they ended up saying that 60% of 60% of classes for the most recent D4 season were Spirit born. So like, it's the new expansion class. So yeah, that's going to factor into it. But those guides definitely permeate the player base, and it matters at the end of the day. And also that's a lot of what like Ziz's content is too. So that's by design, right? Like Ziz makes so many build videos every single PoE league, and so many people follow him because that's kind of the business that we're in. So now the videos are going to be like, hey, I just found this thing. Is it good? I don't know. We're going to find out. It's going to be really fun.
I'm very excited for that.
And it won't just be like, it won't be the tip top players finding stuff. It'll be everyone in the community. You're going to be checking, Reddit or Twitter, and people are going to be finding like a new unique or even new currency. Like, we have no idea what any of that is at this point.
I think that's also why I like being one of the people to speak up against it too, because I'm one of the people that benefit from it the most.
Yeah. So it carries a little bit more weight.
Hopefully.
I'd say.
So is there like, you talked about data mining. Is that just the way it's always going to be now? Like, data mining is not something you can avoid?
Well, it is. Data mining can
encryption.
absolutely be avoided. Yeah, exactly. And you can also not preload, which is another option. So there's lots of ways to avoid it if companies want to.
Okay.
And PoE may be one of those companies. It all depends on how this preload stuff is done. But also it's important to mention that sometimes, Microsoft may screw up or other parties may prevent it from happening. And it only takes one messing up for the whole thing to fall apart, unfortunately.
Yeah. And maybe that's...
that was my concern. Like, you can put all the safeguards in the world, but one malicious person or just a dumb shit like can ruin it for everybody.
And also, to put it bluntly, we also now know that there's a lot of copies out there in the wild right now. And granted, they are in a previous version. We can tell from the screenshots if you look at the flasks and stuff. But it's still, there's absolutely information out there that could be put out, in the right circumstances. So that's another decision they had to make and deal with.
Yeah. And that's a great jumping off point to talk about, preload, no preload, blah, blah, blah. Ziz, how do you personally think servers are going to hold up on Friday? Is it going to be an absolute mess? Is it going to be fine? Have they learned from so many Path of Exile expansion launches? Or does it not matter because there's so many people now?
It's a coin toss. Like, they have really, really smooth PoE 1 launches now. They haven't had a bad launch for... When was Ultimatum? The last time there was a bad launch was not even server related. Yeah, it's like 3 or 4 years. And the last time that happened, that was actually not server related. They had like forgotten to transfer characters to standard, and it clogged something up, right? So server wise, they've done a really good job lately. Hopefully they're able to continue with that. I am expecting for every game I ever play, unless it's something super niche with like less than 30,000 people, I'm expecting that everything will go completely wrong at launch. Now, like every PoE 1 launch, I'm expecting it to be smooth, right? And that's been fine for the last few years. They've done so well at the PoE 1 launches. So like there is a chance that things go well.
No.
I'm not expecting that at all.
See, now I'm on Camp Hopeful. I've stated
I love you guys' optimism. There's absolutely no chance in hell. There's no chance in hell this is going to go well. This is one of the most like people have not been playing PoE 1 for years.
That's true.
Waiting for PoE 2. And not only that, but just as not only is the player base hyped, the people that like Path of Exile are hyped. But there are people that have never played PoE 1 that are insanely excited for PoE 2 just because of how much more friendly it looks. It's gonna be a huge cluster. And not only that, they've already announced that they had to push it back because they had database issues. So we're talking about all those database issues getting like more people than they've ever been able to stress test on them with the login servers, like with oh my God, no, it's gonna be a mess. I'm calling it now. And I am not here on December 6th. I'm out of town until the 9th. I am hoping when I get back on the 9th, I will be able to play.
You shut your whore mouth. It's going to work.
No, he's hoping he'll be able to play by then.
No. He's hoping.
I'm hoping
none
I'll
of
be
us servers will be down the first 3 days.
No.
that none of us can play till he gets back. That's what he's trying to say.
Okay. I'm sorry. Did you listen to me before you said that?
I know your true intentions, Cohh, you wizard.
No, I did a deep inhale when Cohh was like, I hope that when I get back, I'm like,
no. I am hopeful when I get back on the 9th and I play at 8 a.m. that I will be able to log in and play. I am not expecting to. I'm expecting to get back on Monday the 9th at 8 a.m. and not be able to log into the servers.
I
will
think it would be
so happy if I can. I will. I'll be thrilled if I can.
To be fair, for me,
go ahead.
I'm going. No, you
I was just gonna say, I know it's not the same thing, but like Netflix couldn't handle their shit when their like servers were tested. Do you think I don't know if there's a way. Like, can you
the silver lining here? The silver lining here is GGG has done big releases every 3 months. If there is a company that could potentially do this right, they've essentially had a mini MMO release every season, where it's like you get this huge influx of users on your servers, and a week later it's a fraction, and 2 weeks later it's a pittance. So, and they've done this 4 times a year for years. So even though I am still convinced it is going to be a giant cluster, there are few companies that are as well positioned as they are to potentially handle this properly. So that is one tick in their like potentially okay column.
Yeah.
Sure.
I agree with that. And personally, I'm more forgiving of server issues than anything else, because if it was easy, nearly every company ever wouldn't mess it up, right? Like I feel like whenever we're close to like 500K plus players or 200K plus players, nearly every company messes it up, and it's probably not because it's easy and they don't want to do it.
Well, and the thing is like when you have that many clients going that many, there's so, imagine you're looking at basically a wall of gears, of hundreds and hundreds of gears. And every single one of those gears needs to function perfectly or the entire machine breaks. And that is essentially every MMO release. It's never the same issue. It's never the same issue that happens between these releases. They're all failing for a variety of reasons. So it's literally like a house of cards they're building. And then they just throw 50,000 people at it and hope it doesn't crumble. So,
And hopefully the $30 entry fee will help the servers a little bit there.
Yep.
And at launch, it's going to be free. So that could be...
That was one
two.
thing I saw a couple people in chat. I'm curious if you can expand on it all. Is someone said that like Steam ran out of early access keys?
So what can happen is that companies purchase on a certain amount of keys from Steam and then they have to prepare them. So I don't know if they're limiting the keys, but Steam running out of keys happens somewhat frequently. That's more of a like, we want you to prepare this many. Yeah. Oh yeah. I've done like sponsored streams where we've run out of keys during the stream. Like that does happen. Yes.
I didn't know that could happen.
Yeah.
I don't use Steam.
They have to request them. There's not just an endless amount of keys. They have to petition Steam and be like, we want these copies, we want these keys, and then Steam has to deliver them. So sometimes they just don't request enough.
Yeah.
Wow.
I've not heard of any situation where they can't request more though.
Right.
So
Right.
that might be new.
Well,
most of the time they just have, you know.
People in chat are saying, yeah, I bought one an hour ago and it was fine. So
Yeah.
it
Yeah.
seems
So
like
I'm guessing
it's
it was probably just a request thing.
Yeah. Jonathan, I
Yeah.
think, did say that he was a little bit like he's done a ton of interviews. I know Ziz, you're interviewing him tomorrow, where he's kind of nervous by how many copies they've sold of
Yeah.
early access already. I think it was like top 10 on Steam and has been since all of it went live. So
I'm gonna check what it is right now.
it might be 7th or around there is what people and folks were saying. It was
Fourth?
top 3 at one point. If
Oh,
not
this is
top
United
1.
Kingdom, and then it's top 4.
Okay. Yeah, so that's
And
also
just remember,
a little worrying when
not only is it
Jonathan's
top selling,
surprised.
but there are tens of thousands of people who don't need to buy that are also going to be playing. So it's like and those are the ones that you can pretty much guarantee are going to be playing it.
Yeah.
So there's
Yeah.
even more than that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because they have a standalone client too. Not everybody's gonna play on Steam. So
Also
That's true too. Yep.
Yeah. And
Every time you say that, he just cringes a little more over GGG.
well,
You're
it's
right, there
also
is more.
launching on
Oh, there's-
consoles, right? So it's
There you
like
go,
a
too.
multi-platform all at the same time.
Yep.
Which is
Yeah.
kind of rare for them. They usually stagger the console release by a week or so.
So
Yeah.
you said you could pay the money up front, and then when after that does it go free?
They're expecting
don't really
a
know.
6-month EA, a 6-month EA minimum, but they said they will release it when it's ready. So the
Oh.
EA, it's what I've been saying to make sure it's super clear, because this is for some reason caused some contention. So Path of Exile 2 EA is not a free product. PoE 2 retail will be free to play. PoE 2
Yep.
EA is not free to play. It is a $30 product. Or you can have $480 of cosmetics in PoE 1, in which case they give you a key. But people calling PoE EA free to play is weird, and they shouldn't be doing that. Like the EA is
Yeah.
a buy-in. So
now
Okay.
it is worth mentioning as well. When you buy the $30 key, it does come with 300 points, and you can
Mhm.
use those points to buy stash tabs and stuff like that. And any stash tabs and cosmetics you have in PoE 1 gets transferred over to PoE 2 as long as it is applicable.
which is
That-
awesome.
And
That's an
stash
important thing.
stash tabs is inventory, right?
Stash tabs
Um,
are. Go ahead, Ziz.
Yeah, it's like you have like a stash, like you have your character inventory, which is like what you're picking up and putting in your actual character, and then you have your stash, which is like you can expand on that and organize and have like one tab for like armors, one for weapons, for different currencies and stuff like that, and you can like make that larger.
Yeah. And not
Okay.
not to praise them too much, but like it's fucking awesome that they're allowing that transfer, because they totally had no reason to do that. And a lot of other companies would be like, no, this is a different game. You have to buy
Yep.
new MTX
Yep.
in this different game, and they're allowing all of it to transfer over for free. Like if you bought it in PoE 1, you're gonna have it in PoE 2, which
Yep.
is crazy. Like that's honestly crazy.
So stash tabs are one of the ways they make money then.
Yep.
Yeah.
Stash
Stash-
tabs, MTX.
A good way to think
ton of
about
stuff.
it is if you're going to play Path of Exile 1 or 2 for any period of time, you're going to want stash tabs. But a good way to think about it is if you've played enough for it to matter, you've probably already gotten the value for how much they're going to cost you. And
Yeah.
by the time you buy stash tabs, you're invested, and you will get probably a crazier value for those stash tabs if you continue to play than any other purchase in gaming that you've done. Like it doesn't cost much. You can get pretty much everything you need for 20 during a sale. And you're done. Like that's all you need to buy. And then you are finished.
Yeah.
And then you can play hundreds to thousands of hours and not need a single other thing. Maybe a new stash tab if a new league comes out or something that, is but they're a few bucks a piece. So
Yeah,
yeah,
and
it's
if
one of
you-
those
if
very
you
worth it
ask-
things.
if you ask most Path of Exile players, whenever I ask my chat this, most seem to agree that like they overspend on cosmetics just to look cool because they feel like treated so well by GGG, right? In this day and age, we don't by most companies, right? You almost get like bullied into buying things in a lot of games, and you don't really feel like that with GGG. So
Yeah.
it stands out a lot.
I would be very interested to see their like, God damn it, is it KPI? What's the industry term for like how happy your community community sentiment, I guess is what I'm trying to say, of that game compared to every other game? Because I bet you it's incredibly high by comparison with something like Blizzard or something like League of Legends or Riot or anyone. Like, I don't know of
Yeah.
any other company that has people that are willing to spend that much money and like are okay with it.
From an outside standpoint, I would say that the players and players of Path of Exile and the players of Warframe are probably like talking to them are the most happiest consistently overall. Maybe a little bit of Final Fantasy is in there as well. Final Fantasy 14.
True.
Sure. Yeah. I think
I agree
I
with
didn't
that.
think about Warframe, but that's definitely true. That's another great community.
It's a pretty big overlap
Great
there
company.
with PoE players in Warframe.
Yes. Yeah. Also true. Yeah. So we'll see how all that stuff goes. They like I think Cohh was saying, or maybe Ziz was, they did delay the release of this by 2 weeks because that transfer from PoE 1 to PoE 2 was not going as planned. So
and super cool of them to be so transparent about all that. Like,
Yeah.
I've really appreciated them, all their transparency during the development process.
Yep.
Been awesome.
It's been so nice watching like their Q&As and their interviews. It's so different from when I see other companies do those. 'Cause it feels very natural and it doesn't seem like pre-scripted and stuff. And like whenever I have done interviews and stuff, in the start I would be like, is there anything I can ask? And they're like, no, at worst we'll say like we don't have an answer or skip, but like, yeah, ask whatever you want, which is great.
Yeah, anytime we had Chris on the show, he was the same way. We haven't had Jonathan on before, but he was always like, yeah, ask whatever you want. Doesn't matter.
Speaking of which, we're gonna ask Jonathan.
I want to get Jonathan on afterwards.
Yeah, man.
He
Oh,
is. That's one thing that is.
He's not really busy right now, is he?
Well, that's what blows my mind. Is Ziz like has him on a show tomorrow and they launch on Friday, and he's like, yeah. I'll come on and talk to Ziz for 3 hours and answer all these bullshit questions. You know, I don't have anything going on. Like, I'm not busy. And he'll probably be doing that till, I think he was on like a show this morning or this afternoon. Like he's been doing podcasts nonstop. Granted, you know, that does win a ton of sentiment with the community and it's, you know, getting the game out there. They've done a lot of press. I saw they did it was a decently long video with now I guess former Sony employee Shu playing PoE 2 on controller on the PlayStation. And that video was fascinating because Shu has played a little bit of PoE, at least what he said in the video, and they were just like playing on PlayStation, showing kind of how the local co-op or the couch co-op thing worked and how they had to build basically 3 versions of the game with like the PC UI, the console UI, and then the 2-player console UI and 2-player PC UI, which is wild to see function because you can both have your inventory open at the same time. You can both have your passive skills open at the same time and manipulate all that on screen. It was crazy. That'll be huge. This is honestly like, that's a question I have for you is, are you going to play solo or are you going to play with Steel when you're leveling up for the first time?
So for lunch, we'll be playing solo.
Okay.
Right? I definitely do plan to do couch co-op stuff. And one thing I have already been talking about that I want to do, I'm on an esports team called Shopify Rebellion, and I was like throwing around the idea of, well, why don't we do a couch co-op event where we fly everybody out to LA, fly out like 15 to 30 streamers, and we do a couch co-op event.
Yeah.
And they were like, that sounds so fun. Let's do that.
Yeah, you can do like pros with Pros and Joe's tournament, right? You get you and Ludwig or you and random people, or have a draft for it. There's tons of content for sure.
Yeah.
Even, you know, for me, Gassy Mexican, my neighbor and or streamer, has never played PoE before. And I'm like, dude, download it on Friday. We'll start off and I'll like help you learn the game for the first time because the co-op actually looks genuinely impressive and not, I wouldn't say it's an annoyance in PoE 1, but it looks vastly different. Yeah, it looks vastly different than PoE 1.
I think the speed of PoE 2 really lends to people being able to more comfortably play together, which looks to be very cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, when I was talking to a few Destiny streamers at the LA event, so like total, by the way, I've played slightly less than 6 hours of PoE 2.
Okay.
So it was 4 hours at the LA event, and then 3 40-minute demos, The first one was at ExileCon 1, and it was a completely different game.
Yeah.
So and PoE 2, PoE in general is a really bad game for 40-minute demos, right? So the only one I like really got to play was the 40-minute one, because in the 40-minute demos it like auto picked your skill tree and stuff. So I was like, I'm not really getting anything out of this. But the Destiny players, they had said they had struggled hard with PoE 1, but found PoE 2 a lot more accessible because it's sort of like limited choice. Like without clicking the like unlock all gems button, it only shows you like 3 skill gems. Instead, where in PoE 1, they're like, yeah, you can, from this vendor, you can buy like 119 skill gems. Have fun. So it should be more streamlined for new players.
Yeah. And I think, wasn't Jonathan on record saying that they do plan to add some sort of like in-game build tool? So you're not like doing a PoE builder and another monitor or another window, like it's all in one client. I think that'll be massive whenever that gets implemented.
Dude, wait. So
Can't remember if they confirmed that. I think they're only gonna do pathing for the tree.
Okay, it's only gonna be pathing. Gotcha.
One of the things that I remember talking about way back in the day is how amazing it would be if you could load path of building builds into PoE and then just see them on your passive tree. But I was told many times that PoE has said specifically they were never going to do anything like that.
For at least PoE 1.
Them?
I think chat's saying they're entertaining the idea. I heard that, I think I remember reading something where Jonathan said like they're looking into it. It already exists in PoE 1. Yeah, it exists in the PoE 1 Chinese client, I think. Or like a version of it, and always had.
Strange.
So
and it did in an early access version for the Bowl of Oriath early access.
Oh, it did. They had it. Okay.
Now for the lay person like myself who doesn't like, what I heard was like, is it like deck like copying a magic deck and putting it into your arena, like uploading it like that? Like
Not
a
really,
build, like taking a build and going, this is the build.
It would,
and then you can fill it in as you go.
I think what they were talking about was like having like a template that would like overlay to like show like here are the nodes you would have selected.
Yeah.
Oh, Pompey Hammer says Jonathan did confirm they are looking at having it so you can import a passive tree guide to follow, but it will not show items, etc. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
It won't be like a planner like Path of Building. It'll just say like these are the nodes that you've suggested that you should take.
Yeah. That alone, I think, would
that'll be huge.
Help player retention.
Like it's not going to,
much.
It's not going to say like you will do 6 million damage at the end game.
Right. Just like following a line through that passive tree would eliminate the player retention bouncing off in Act 1, especially given all of the comments, and people are labeling them as reviews, but there have been a lot of, let's say, comments about PoE 2 saying it's very hard. There's a lot of like Dark Souls, Elden Ring comparisons in terms of difficulty from the people that have already played it, alongside other like grandiose statements as like the best ARPG ever made. Different things
it's the Elden Ring of ARPGs.
Yeah, there's a ton of hype right now around the game, so take that stuff, carefully. But people are excited.
I'm very, very curious because I played at the LA event, and I'm hoping maybe that it's a little bit easier than that, because that was exceptionally hard.
Yeah.
So obviously, at the LA event, we had some of the best players in Path of Exile, and watching like people like Ben, like Shane die, and like listening to like Al Kaiser talk about it, like he almost sounds like a victim, right? He's like, "You guys aren't ready. You guys don't know. Like, you guys don't know." So I'm definitely, I think it will be like a bit easier and a bit tuned down from that. Because if it is that hard for like the veterans, then new players are probably just gonna have a really
we're gonna get obliterated. Yeah.
Well, that's the thing.
Completely obliterated.
We at the event we actually saw several press people leave because it was too hard and they got hard stuck on the boss because you can't corpse rush them. It starts over.
Right.
They just left. They were like, it's too hard. So I do think it'll be tuned down from that. But it'll be really interesting, I think. And, I think it'll be pretty refreshing.
Yeah, I think so too.
Big same.
There's a content creator that actually put out a video couple days ago, and I'm blanking who it was, but I think he was talking about the LA event where like he started as a mercenary and got to the first boss and was like, this is a fucking nightmare. And then he rolled Sork and found a staff that had like +4 lightning skills or something on it. And he just walked into the boss and like 5-shot him.
Yeah, it's subtract him.
Subtract him. Okay,
So,
yeah.
So it could just be massive balancing issues and not even difficulty.
Yeah, it's also, I remember I had a similar thing where like I didn't find an upgrade, but then on my other character I did, and it is very night and day. And from what they've said, right, that's something they've changed a lot from the LA event. Didn't find a single currency, I think. And now they've said like you're gonna find multiple exalts and multiple, like a lot of currency. You're gonna be crafting a lot.
That's good.
So
They said like
that'll
you would
give
be
so much more
finding.
power.
What did they say? Like you'd be finding like multiple exalts per few maps. Like when asked like how much. Yeah, it's gonna be like the new chaos orb pretty much from the sounds of it.
Yeah. So they have very different crafting now. So I'm not too worried.
Per act. Thank you. Okay.
Yeah, and also for the LA event, we were in a rush, right? Like we wanted to see like how much of the content can we explore.
Mhm.
So we were going slightly under leveled or on level. And like normally, right? If things are too hard in Path of Exile, well, do the zone over once. You'll gain so much power.
Yeah. So we'll see. Again, this is all stuff where we don't know, and that's why I think everyone's generally so excited.
It's so exciting.
'cause-
I'm so hyped for that.
Yeah, we don't know how it's gonna go. And the other thing is, we don't even know if we're gonna play.
Sure.
Like,
Now-
it may hit Friday. I messaged I'm lucky enough to do a sponsorship for it, and I messaged them and it's like, so what happens if I can't log in?
You and about 50 other streamers right now. Yeah. What do you want us to do?
How does that work? What are we supposed to do
Yeah,
for that?
I can't remember what game did it. It might have been New World with Amazon, but I remember a company had that the 2 hour sponsored was specifically spent playing the game to cover stuff like that.
Yeah.
That was quite smart.
Yeah.
So it's like you can say yes at your own risk, but like you're sponsored to play the game for 2 hours, not sit in a queue.
Yeah. My only request and hope, and honestly pray is like, please don't do a streamer queue again. Don't do that.
Oh, they learned that. No, they learned their
Yeah.
lesson. They tried a streamer queue and they turned it off like soon.
It
So
was
I don't
bad.
think they would never do that again.
It was
that
bad.
was
It was real.
Yeah.
Why is it bad?
Too bad.
Why
It
was it
still
bad?
has
it's
Okay,
bad for two
so-
reasons. Oh, go ahead, Ziz. Go ahead.
Yeah, so basically what happened is
Here,
that
I'll
they
be right
had
back real
forgotten
quick.
to transfer existing characters from the current leagues, like the ones that recur every 3 months. They had forgotten to transfer those to the permanent realm standard. So that basically had to happen as the servers went up, and that caused like a huge like bottleneck. And like some people, probably like 10 to 30,000 maybe, got in instantly, and then it was letting in like I don't know 100 or 10 people per minute, very few. So like barely anyone got in. And then people started saying like, oh, there's some sort of streamer queue. And I was like, no, there isn't. And then somebody showed me a clip of a streamer logging out and back in. I'm like, uh-oh. And then I tried it and I was like, uh-oh. And then I messaged them and I was like, hey, please remove me from this thing. But people were really unhappy, right? It kind of is similar to what I said before, where it creates this weird perception that like streamers are above other people and stuff. And I get it from the GGG point of view, right? Because you don't want to waste like hundreds of thousands of dollars in sponsorship money for people just to stream the game for 2 hours. So, like what I've talked about afterwards, I've always said like streamer queue can make sense for streamers that are like just gonna play a few hours and do the sponsorship and then leave. But especially for people like me and anyone that's gonna play long term, they should obviously never have streamer queue, right? So I'm against streamer queue for people like me, but for people that are sponsored and are only going to play a little bit and aren't really going to affect the grand economy or the rankings, I personally don't really care. I think that's better than people having to just stare at nothing. At least that gives people watching something to watch too. But I think probably GGD felt like that would make the long-term streamers mad at the sponsored streamers. But I still think that's preferable.
Here's a big thing though, and this is something that I think honestly is there's two sides to that coin that are very important. allowing a streamer to have a streamer queue of any kind during a sponsored portion, especially in PoE2's case, where people will need to pay for that product, that could be considered false advertising. Because what they're doing is they are showing on stream, hey, look at me play this product, double click, logged right in. Man, I'm playing and having a great time. This is a $30 game, better go get it. And then all these people go and spend that money and they're not able to play for the next 72 to 40, 120 hours.
I have not thought about the $30 entry
And
fee.
that honestly,
I honestly don't agree with
there's
that,
an
man.
argument.
You plaster a sponsor across everything. They know you're going to get
The
preferential
only
treatment,
way,
and I think
the
that's
only
kinda
way,
a
no,
given.
a streamer queue is a given. Here's the thing. That's why I would argue
No preferential
that's
treatment
completely
for
wrong.
paying you money. They want to show off their shit.
But they're showing something the person buying the product can't do, and then saying you can go buy this product to do that. And that's a problem because a lot of people are going to go buy that product and be very confused. Now, here's the thing. In a perfect world, if every viewer understood the situation, if every viewer understood that they're watching somebody play and the queues are full and they can't, that's fine. But the problem is we don't live in that world. And there's no way that we'd be able to properly give that information to every viewer. So there's a real schism there that I think that, that honestly, like GGG needs to understand, like what they need to do is they need to, if they're going to do a sponsored push, they got to wait a few days until the servers are stable. They can't be doing it the first day.
I'm not going to assume that you've done a stream like this, but I know I have, where they give you a version of the game and the character that you're playing has a bunch of skills that you have to wait hours to get.
Sure.
Is that the same kind of false advertising? Because it's like, look, I'm going to jump right in. Look at all this shit I can do. And then people are going to like jump in and go like, I can't do that shit. I figured they would assume that since I'm being paid to promote this product, that I would have maybe like, if available, some advantages, and one of those being better gear or faster login time.
I think that's kind of a slippery slope because then you're just talking about like time played of the game. And so like, if it's the kind of thing where they're just, I think it's different being able to actually use the product you're buying as opposed to not being able to while watching someone using it and enjoying it. So I think if you're talking about like different states inside the game, that's one thing, but I'm more talking about the binary, you are able to play it or you are not able to play it after giving it money.
Yeah.
And honestly,
no,
like in your case,
I get that too, but it's like
I'd say there's certain games that would apply.
It's like standing in line at a club and you see people going like, what the fuck is that? It's like, oh, they're friends with the owners. Like, oh, me personally be like, I get it. If they're friends with the owners, like if I was friends with the owners, I'd fucking go right in too.
One point that I would say that you are kind of on tune with here is sponsored promotions that then have like DLC or deluxe edition items that they then like request the person use, where it's like, okay, if someone goes and buys the game, they're not going to have those deluxe items they're seeing on the streamer. Like that kind of plays into it a little bit. But in that case, they could just spend more money to get it, which is still scummy as hell, but at least they could do it. They have a choice to. But like with the PoE2 stuff, like they would not have the choice. There would be no power of the consumer in that situation. They could only refund it. And I feel it's a little bit different.
Sure. Yeah. But I generally avoid what you're talking about as well. Like whenever someone's like, hey, can you use this? I'm like, no, ideally not.
Yeah, you just want to start from the beginning. I think it depends on the game in a lot of ways too.
Exactly. That's for me. It depends on the game.
Yeah, there's nuance all across the board.
I mean, sometimes those items ruin the progression and they ruin the fun.
Yeah.
So it's like
progression's the most fun part of gaming.
Yeah, sure. Especially in a game like this, right? Especially in a game like this. I will say, regardless on what side of that argument you fall, the entire process of that streamer queue situation, I'm still dealing with is a strong word, but I'm still seeing the effects of that today when I go on Reddit or when I open up anything and everyone's like, oh, they got streamer blah, right? Like it just creates the idea that there is this like secret thing, this agenda that everyone is against the common person. And I hate that.
Defend yourself against that shit anyway.
Yeah, but this just emboldens it, man. It emboldens the streamer,
I will say,
streamer loot, all that shit.
Just for the record, somebody said, isn't what Cohh's saying the exact same as people playing games or doing sponsor streams before release dates? The very important difference there, I would say, is A, we always talk about the release dates, it's part of it. And B, if you went to buy the product, you would see that it's not available to play.
Yeah.
So that, and then you would factor that into your purchase decision. Very different.
All different, nuanced situations.
There's a lot, there's a lot of nuanced situations.
It's an interesting discussion.
Sure.
What were you saying though? Like, so for a very long time in Path of Exile, people would say like, "Oh, that guy has streamer RNG," right? And
Yeah,
people
streamer
would
client.
like basically
Streamer
treat
client,
that person like a flat earther, right? Like they'd just be like, "Oh, you're crazy," like you're crazy. Whereas after streamer Q,
Now it's a
people
real
are
thing,
like,
dude. Now there's
now people are like,
credits there. Yeah.
"Well, if they
You have
did
those.
that,
You have those same people. That never happened. No, streaming that no, that never happened.
They have
You're
video of
making
the
that- you're
ship
making that
like
up.
falling off the end of the earth. They're like, dude.
I can just imagine. It's like,
Yeah.
no, the streamer queue definitely happened. Here's the PoE guys addressing it. No, it's all fabricated, man. That's deep fake.
Yeah,
It's all
so
deep fake.
it
Deep fake.
is
Never
really
actually happened.
interesting. And I actually like several
Deepfake.
times I've had like discussions with people. And I've actually convinced a few people like that it doesn't exist. My favorite was like I was like, well, I said if streamer RNG was the thing, then there would be at least one good player calling it out. Right? And he was like, but I am. And I'm like, well, like one and then he was like, okay, give me a list of good players that aren't streamers then. And I made like a list of like 50 or 60, right? Of the best people like Embu, Dan, and stuff like that, right? And he was like, you know what? That's actually a really good point. And he was like, you know what? You're right. That's pretty rare for people to do that. So
Yeah. And you're right, actually. A lot of times the first people to call out crazy things happening within the game are like the best players. Like they'll even like call the other members of that best player group out if there's
Yeah.
something that's
And,
fucked
like,
up.
Steel didn't stream for like 8 years of playing the game, right? So you would have noticed like a big difference.
Yeah. So, question for you, Ziz. I saw this pop up a lot on Twitter and different parts of the Reddit. Are you starting softcore or hardcore?
So for the longest time, I've been like, there's a 0% chance I'm starting softcore, or I mean, starting hardcore. No chance at all. And then Steel Mage was like, "Oh, are you a bitch?" And then I was like, "Okay, I'm gonna play hardcore." And then
All it took was
And-
one call out,
That's-
and you're just like,
that's a good-
okay, you're right. I don't want to play.
No, I mean,
it's from my best friend, so it hits different. But then
and he's got a
Ben-
point. I mean, that's a very good point.
It's a good point. But then Ben was like, yeah, I'm not dying to like server disconnects 4 times on day one.
True.
And then I died to a server disconnect in WoW, and I'm like, yeah, I can't handle that. So I am
Ooh,
starting
that was your
software.
omen. That was your omen. That was your gimme.
Yeah.
The universe
So
is letting
I'm
you know.
starting softcore, and as soon as it
Nice.
seems stable and if it seems balanced enough, I will go hardcore.
Okay. All right. Fair enough.
Which is interesting because I've never played softcore in PoE 1.
At all, ever? Oh, you've
Just for,
always
like,
you've always
events
been
that only
hardcore and
exist in-
SSF and not SSF. Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess that's true.
Like, I'd play BPL and stuff on softcore, but like there's no hardcore version of that.
Right. And then I guess the second question, I get asked this, I don't know, probably 20 times a day, and I'm not playing in the Path of Exile director at all, so I can only imagine for you it's hundreds of times a day. What are you starting? Do you have any idea what like class you're gonna go first? Are you drawn to another one?
So I've thought about it a lot, and the first thing I really wanted to play was like the demon girl shapeshifter thing. Looked really cool.
Yeah.
But that also looks very softcore, and my intention is to swap to hardcore very early. So I think I'm going to basically play the exact same thing on softcore and then remake that on hardcore, because then I'll know exactly like how tanky it is and stuff. It'll give me a big advantage.
Yeah.
So I am most likely going to. I'm leaning towards like a totem warrior right now. The only thing that's a little bit off-putting to me about that is that the totem doesn't scale with your weapon. Like it scales with
Off
the
the
gem.
gem. Yeah.
So that's a little off-putting to me. But that's what I'm leaning towards right now.
Okay. How many times is that going to change between now and Friday, you think?
I don't
Let's
know.
ask him
I'm
after the
pretty-
interview tomorrow.
Yeah.
the thing is, I don't think there's a. I'm assuming that most things would be a similar power level, so I don't think there's a huge. Like either way, that sounds like something that's going to be tanky because we don't have life nodes on the tree anymore, and strength is one of the big ways to get health. So I'm leaning towards something like melee and tanky anyway, and I think recovery is going to be like such a huge survival element in PoE. So I'm pretty locked in on being some form of melee warrior, or not even necessarily melee, but like some sort of like strength stacking warrior tank.
Got it. Yeah.
Let me ask you, is what goes into your like decision-making process as far as, is it just putting up numbers and the best build, or is it like, does fun come into play later on, or does it come into play like right away? Like, because I know you've done all the builds, you know, you're like you explore everything you can, but like when it comes to like first builds, is fun even a factor?
So I would say winning is fun. So I'm
fair.
usually
No, that's fair.
competing.
That's absolutely fair. Yeah.
Yeah. So I really like competing. So that would normally be how I approach it. And in hardcore, you're shoeboxed into things a lot more. So I would say softcore is infinitely better for content creation. Like I just like if I was not a streamer, I would only play hardcore. There's definitely a big part of me that's considering transitioning to softcore full time. I think it's infinitely better for content creation because, like,
Really? You don't think
yeah,
people
you can-
find more enjoyment like watching for that big death and, you know, all the clips that go around from it and stuff like that?
I don't think that makes up for the amount of content I can't make.
Interesting.
Like,
So yeah,
especially
you're
looking
talking
at
from
like
a
the
content creation aspect rather than a viewer aspect.
Yeah.
I was thinking. I was thinking the numbers. Like, does that factor into your?
I think I get way
your-
more numbers if I was a software streamer with how I make content. Way more, infinitely more.
Interesting.
Like looking at the
Very
type of
interesting.
content Empyrean can make, the type of content Metal can make that I just can't do. Like I play hardcore. I've played hardcore since accidentally Diablo 1 because I played online and my internet connection was so unstable, so I would disconnect and lose all my gear a lot. So like I prefer hardcore. But I probably like I will probably play hardcore in PoE2 mostly too, but there's a lot of arguments and like viral my like content managers like you really should just swap to software. And I'm like, yeah.
Yeah, I get that. I never thought about the reason, like the very Mathel's allure is that he can play so much different builds and do different things because the threat of dying is not one
And
that
death sets you
exists.
back so much.
Yeah.
And that's the thing, right? You get that spike in viewership when you're alive. And people will tune in and they'll watch your death. You might get an extra 100,000 people watching your death, right? And that's great. But then when you're re-leveling, you might tank 80% of the viewership while you're re-leveling.
Sure.
Yeah.
Because people always want to see the new, and if you're dead, you know, it's going to be a while. So I get what you're saying there. Yeah.
Yeah. It's a lot of hard choices, but I mean that means that like, yeah, there's not necessarily a wrong choice.
Sure. Yeah. What are some of the things in PoE2 that you're most like, I guess, on the fence about that we know that they've shown? What are things where you're just like, I don't fucking like that, or I don't know how that's gonna go. We're gonna have to check out and see like where are your curiosities, where do they lie?
So again, I am very open to everything, right? It's a new game. I'm gonna go in with the mind frame that it is a new game, and I'm not going in with like this isn't PoE1, it sucks, right? Because then I think I would have a bad time. So I'm going in with a very open mind. That being said, there are things that I'm like, oh, this looks fucking awful.
Please
like
expand.
for example, the fact that you have to click on the well to refill potions, I'm like, is there a need? That is just, it seems very like, why? It's like, what? How does this benefit me?
Okay.
Not being able to respec ascendancy, I'm like, bro, we already have a permanent choice with our class. Do we really need a subclass being a permanent choice as well? In a game where people already are super against the fact that we don't have alternative leveling. And obviously they've said that they are hopefully and have fixed this problem with PoE2 being a lot more of an exciting campaign. But is it realistically going to be exciting enough after we do have 1,000 or 5,000 hours in PoE2, right? I'm not convinced that it is. So a permanent choice there. And I'm especially against that in early access because this is when people want to try out the most amount of different stuff. And a lot of people don't like starting over. For a lot of people, it's already a big deal that the game basically starts over every 3 months or whatever anyway, right? So those are definitely the main things I'm a little bit worried about. Another thing, I wouldn't say I'm against this. I'm really, really curious about this, is the fact that you can only have one support gem per character. Like I can only use LMP on one gem. I'm really curious. It might be awesome because things like that are like they are there for a reason, right? Like for example, when they had Soulbound in Sanctum, it was there so that they could add that much more power to it, right? It's not just a downside. And I'm assuming it's the same with gems, right? Like if we could have 10 life taps or 10 multi-prods, then they would have to remove power because of it. So maybe this is like cool enough that yeah, you can only have one unleash, but it's so much stronger because of it. So
Sure. Yeah. Yeah, I wonder if that will get changed over time with not only being able to use one support gem, because it could. I think from like GGG side, it'll force people to be creative and like actually utilize and play with all the other tools in the toolbox, but it also could just suck. Like it
yeah.
could just not be
Yep.
fun. And you
That's an
wanna,
option.
Yeah, you want to utilize all that other
So
stuff.
and I mean that's the beautiful thing about the early access, right? They can change a lot of things.
Yeah.
Very true.
The flip side,
And they'll be getting lots and lots of feedback.
oh yeah, they definitely will.
Oh yes.
They definitely will. What about the flip sides? Is like, what are you stupidly excited for? What are some of your most exciting things you're looking forward to?
It still seems surreal that we're gonna have 36 ascendancies. That like
At the end of the day, yeah.
That's so crazy to me. 'Cause it's like
That's
we're
a
gonna
lot
have
of
12
balance.
classes. All of those classes are gonna have 3 ascendancies. How are they gonna balance this? Like that's so crazy.
And constantly be updating and constantly be adding on to via leagues, and every one of them will have to be touched. So it's like wow.
Yeah, it's so crazy. And GGG have done a really good job of making most things viable. Like obviously, like some things are going to be a lot more viable. But like on softcore especially, right? There's very few things you can't do all the content with. So I think that's very exciting. And there's just so much. There was more content than I was expecting in the early access. I love that there's an Uber. I love the rune stuff. Looks so exciting to me because like runes and rune words were some of my favorite things in D2. So and they seem to have expanded on the Val Orb in a way that is even more like the way the Project Diablo 2 mod and Path of Diablo is. So I think that's so cool. I'm very excited. I personally hope the uniques are at the point like they are in PD2, which I recently played. It's like a mod for Diablo 2. And it's so fun. But there I had a rule like the item doesn't exist until I val it. And that is like so fun. And oh actually and the thing I love the most, which makes this more possible, is the fact that there are no sockets on items anymore. So if you find an upgrade, you can put it in.
You don't have to wait.
A quick side bit on that, and this is something I'm going to bring up in the interview tomorrow, is this is why they're doing sockets away from gear, right? Like if you find an item, you can put it on. But the new runes, they also kind of make that harder again, right? Because you can't take a rune back out. So I want to have a little bit of a discussion, a little bit of pushback on that. Like, doesn't that sort of invalidate the easy change? If you like, yeah, I can wear this, but I have to find the runes for the sockets, unless they're super plentiful.
Yeah.
So I'm a little bit worried about that. Like there is a case where runes aren't an issue for switching gear. But they could be an issue. So I want to hear Jonathan talk about that because I love the idea of you finding an upgrade and you're just slapping it on. Don't have to worry about it.
You don't have to port, go change the socket colors on it, make sure that it's 6 link, like all that. You just right click and go.
Yeah.
That would also like encourage testing so much. Like that would
Exactly.
that is a fundamental change in how GGG wants players to approach exploring the different options. So especially again, going back to the new player stuff, being able to just like flip this in, use it for 5 packs. No, it's cool. Go back. Didn't lose anything. Didn't lose any time. Like that's going to be huge. That's one of the reasons, like all this stuff that Ziz is referring to. This is one of the reasons I'm very excited to go in without any knowledge and no build guide. I think there's going to be enough mechanics to where it's going to be a really good time. I'm not going in with that same fear that I have at PoE where it's like, oh, if I go down this branch, it's going to brick this character. Like I don't feel like that nearly as much. Knowing how easy it is to respec, knowing about the stuff that Ziz just talked about, being able to test and try that stuff without having to spend resources. That's big. That's a big change for this game.
I really hope that they've really managed that part, because in PoE 1, like there's so many big traps for players. Like like a quick example, right? The amount of times I've like helped somebody with their build and they'd be doing like, let's say, ethereal knives or something, right? It's a physical based spell, and they would have a wand with like 30 to 50 flat physical damage, right? And 110% increased physical damage. And to anyone that hasn't played the game, they would be like, yeah, that seems like a great weapon for a physical based spell. But none of the stats on that weapon actually affects it, because those are all if you're attacking with the weapon. But that's very unclear in the game.
Yeah.
So hopefully they've really, really nailed that and made it very easy to tell. Like I feel ARPGs are probably the single worst game at this, where it's really hard to tell, like, how do I scale this? Like, how do I improve what I'm playing right now?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, so much of it is just good. I depend on the community to like help shape all of that stuff. And I'm sure like Jonathan said that as much, right? Like they're waiting for the community to go in there and break stuff. That's the whole point of this being in early access. I got to think from a like developer point of view, for them to go back and start PoE 2 and in a lot of ways like simplify things. And you can kind of see it through what they've shown at Exile Con, to even now where they've just taken away complete systems, no more sockets on gear. And now it's like, well, we actually will have sockets on gear, but it's not going to be these. Like, I wonder at what point they're just like, fuck, this is too complicated. We can't, like, we got to the most complicated stuff in PoE 1 and we saw people be like, I'm going to wait for PoE 2. And now they're already starting to like take systems away, but also add others. Like, I wonder how much give and take there is when it comes to the development of that stuff. It's got to be super interesting.
Well, dude, I mean, when you think about their approach to QOL in PoE, I can only imagine what the last 3+ years of debates have been like behind closed doors. Like it, I mean, because a lot, the answer to your question, like what happens when it gets too complex? Well, you make a new game, and that's what they did.
Yeah,
that's true. They like a lot, you know, like a lot of times they say like MMOs get to the point where the damage numbers are so ridiculous they just have to reset.
The stat squish.
That's PoE 2. Like that's essentially in a lot of ways what they're doing. They're bringing it back to the core basics and then growing it back out again in complexity. We all know PoE 2 in 10 years is going to be probably worse than PoE 1 is now in terms of how deep and complex it is. So they needed a reboot. And honestly, watch, we're going to see 5-6 years. PoE 2 gets that same way and it's like, oh, cool. Now we're talking about PoE 3. It's just going to like, we're going to see these like resets come and it's just going to keep going. But yeah, I think PoE 2 is a big answer to that question.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. And I've heard so many people have said that as well. Like I have viewers that have watched me for like 6-7 years and they haven't played PoE yet. Which is kind of crazy to me, but it's fun. And a lot of that is like you said, they're waiting for, so many people are waiting for PoE 2 to get in on the ground floor.
Yes.
Right? They're like, oh, I missed the boat on PoE 1. It's too complicated. Zizaran is posting 6-hour-long guides. Let's just wait.
Yeah, that's true. Are you gonna, I guess as a content creator, what is the first thing you're going to focus on when it comes to content creation? And like, how are you going to balance that as a super fan at the same time when you're like, I actually need to do my job?
That's a great question.
Or on a flip side, are you just saying, screw it, this is for me?
Yeah, like where is your mind for all that?
That's a great question. The thing is, I kind of like enjoy playing content the way I stream anyway, right? Like I very early made the choice that I didn't really want to have a different personality on my on-stream persona than myself because of the amount of hours I stream. And I really thought about having like a character because I'd seen other people doing that. And I think that makes like any negative criticism a lot easier to handle. But I was like, but also I want to stream for like 20-30 hours. And keeping up a character for that long.
Wait, hold on. So you're telling me that you didn't go blue hair to copy Ninja? That was all you?
First.
Okay.
Okay.
I was going to say, I'm pretty sure if we check the timeline, if we go check the videos, I'm pretty sure that this had it first.
Yeah. So I will actually be running a subathon at the launch with my wife. I usually don't do these, but I've done one before. 3 years ago, maybe.
Yeah.
But so many people have actually been asking, like, are you going to do something with your wife again? And we are. So that's pretty exciting. And then I am basically hoping to rush down the Uber, the new boss. Don't know if I'll do that in softcore, but there's Steel Mage as well was saying, like, most likely the first person that kills it in hardcore is going to kill it in softcore first. Because we don't have practice characters, right? And it looks like boss fights are so hard now that we might be just going, first person that goes in on hardcore, if they haven't practiced on softcore, there's a big chance they go in and they're just like, dead. So I'll probably see after 3 to 5 days how far I am, how things are progressing with if anyone is playing hardcore at the start. But I'll be making videos and stuff while I'm live.
Yeah, just recording it while you're in the process. Okay.
And it's like, yeah.
Well, I was gonna say, like, for the people that don't want to do this without the helping hand, what do you suggest? Wait a day? Wait till later the first day?
You don't really need to wait at all, because somebody that is a content creator is likely going to be ahead of you anyway. So you can literally watch them live, or like most people are multi-streaming on YouTube now.
Sure.
Going through the VOD is so easy on YouTube. If anything, put on a 1 hour delay on yourself, and then you're seeing like where to put points, like where to do everything if you do want that hand holding, right?
Yeah.
Like, and streamers will be playing a lot of different builds anyway.
Sure. Okay. And then I guess the other question, like, it definitely has already happened with PoE 1 when you see, you know, how do I classify it? You have like the content creator YouTube video of like, hey, here's my build guide. And then you have the like, what is the big build guide website that starts with an M, where a lot of content creators.
Maxroll.
Yeah, like Maxroll. Like, where do you see that going? Do you think more and more content creators are going to partner up with that site? Do you think they're going to stay their own thing? Do you see any like pushback from viewers when it's like, I don't want to go to Maxroll, I just want to go to your YouTube? Like, how is that shaping up?
So that's a great question. I haven't really talked about this publicly. I am part of Maxroll.
Yeah.
This isn't really publicly announced yet, but I'm now the branch leader of Path of Exile.
Okay. Congrats.
So that's me.
Whoa.
Thank you.
Yeah, big congrats. Can you tell us what that means?
Yeah. So that's me and Crouching Tuna. So me and Tuna are doing that. And then one of the main things that I didn't like when I joined Maxroll was that there would be unoptimal guides and stuff on the website. So one of the things that I wanted to change.
Did you say unoptimum? What was that?
Unoptimal. Yeah, like just not perfect.
Gotcha.
And guides don't have to be perfect, by the way. They just have to be framed perfectly. Like, there are several of my guides that are unoptimal, right? And I've told this to Cohh as well. Like, sometimes when giving Cohh a guide, I'll be like, this guide is better, but this guide is better for a new player, right? Because telling a new player, hey, you need to weapon swap every 6 seconds, like,
they're gonna be like, cool, what's weapon swapping?
Yeah, why the fuck do I want to do that to my hands? Like,
why would I ever want to do that?
So one of the things I've started to wanting to change was to make sure that like every single thing, like, instead of saying like, well, there's some unoptimal guides and some optimal guides on Maxroll, I want to get to the point where like everything that's there, you're gonna have a good experience with. So we've been bringing on like more players, right, that I'm very confident in as well. So like we have Garatha joining, we have Havoc joining, we have kind of throwing him under the bus here, but Steel Mage is joining. We're gonna have Steel Mage doing some
all the announcements.
We're gonna have Steel Mage doing like some sort of like content review where he will like help other creators and look over guides a little bit.
Nice.
To like really like keep this to a whole new standard as well. And so like especially Garatha as well, in my opinion, is like literally one of the best guide creators.
Yeah, he's great.
So
I've used his stuff before.
Yeah, and he does really unique stuff too. So I think like getting some of those like really, really good players on, and everyone helping each other, I think will really take that to the next level. And the main reason I wanted to join personally is I've always wanted to do written content. And I actually hired a guy called Enki to make written content for me.
Nice.
For the Path of Exile forum, but that didn't work because I couldn't monetize it at all. So I was just bleeding money for no return. Whereas through Maxroll, we can monetize through the ad revenue, right?
Sure.
So it actually makes sense. So yeah, that's like for me at least. So I think things like that will be a really big part of it, and I think there's still like a lot of room for just like I'm still going to be doing my normal YouTube stuff too because people want different things, right? Some people want written guides, some people want a video guide, some people want long in-depth stuff, and some people want just like here's the skill tree. That's all you need, right? Because Path of Exile is a very unique game where there are literally, and I'm not joking for people that aren't familiar with Path of Exile, there are people with over 3,000 and 5,000 hours in the game that feel like a new player. I'm not joking.
Yeah, that would probably be me.
I consider myself a PoE noob. I'm not very versed. If I look at Path of Exile right now, my played time is 911 hours. And I would say that I'm a relatively new player at the end of the day.
Yeah. I have 25, maybe 26,000, and I definitely do consider anyone under 3K. There are exceptions, but I do consider most people under 3K a very new player. There are exceptions, like itmeXile, when he started, he would have very like, I'm going to learn and master this game approach, and he became one of the best players in less than 3,000.
Yeah, it
You have to have,
depends
like-
on the personality.
It's such an astronomical amount of time. I love how you're like,
True.
in less than 3,000 hours. Dude, that's like
It's a
years.
big game.
Like, it's like he became an ancient master after only training for 55 years.
Yeah.
One thing
That's
also
a
I
lot.
will say, I'm going to make this comment only because I've said the exact same thing, but I love so much as a streamer that this was like, so I've always wanted to write guides, so I hired a guy to do it for me. And I've done the exact same thing.
Bro,
It's a very streamer-minded
thought about
thing.
that.
Yeah. It,
well,
I do the
to be
same thing.
fair,
I hired a whole team,
like-
to be fair. So
it helps a lot. Well, we ghostwrite them, so I'm in Discord with them. But yeah, it's a little bit easy to get out of touch as a streamer. I'll never forget my first podcast ever was with a guy called Ziggy D.
Yeah.
And
who is in chat right now? Hi, Ziggy.
oh, awesome. And this is the time where I was streaming roughly 450 hours per month at this time. And on his podcast, I say the line, casual players that only play 8 to 9 hours a day. And Ziggy was just like, he was like, what did he just say? And I didn't even think about it. Because at the time, I was doing 30-hour sessions. So I was like, yeah, 8 to 9 hours. That's pretty casual. That was very out of touch. But yeah, we've grown since then.
yeah.
I think we've
yeah.
all
It's-
we've all been there. We've
Yeah.
all been there in our different ways. Maybe not that way, but in our different ways.
It happens. It happens without question. Well, cool. I know you got a ton of PoE2 stuff. I know you've got that interview with Jonathan.
Oh.
I told you before.
I've seen multiple questions. When is the interview tomorrow?
Yeah.
8 p.m. GMT, so that's 40 minutes from now tomorrow.
So,
So
3 p.m.
3
Eastern.
p.m. ET tomorrow.
And it'll be on your Twitch channel live. Is that okay?
Yeah, add on YouTube. I multi-stream now.
And then I'm sure VOD on YouTube and everything like that.
I've removed the VOD on YouTube now.
You don't have. So wait. where
Really?
did- Wait.
Yeah,
you mean VOD of the live
I'm-
stream?
Yeah.
So then you
I'm not
post the
sure how to
VOD of the
feel about
video,
it.
right?
Okay, the reason I removed it, at least temporarily, I don't know what to do. It's actually, it does cost me a lot of ad revenue because it is a significant amount of ad revenue leaving it up.
Do you
Wow.
not turn ads on them?
No. I have the ads on them. The problem is I'm now hiding them because I looked at my own channel on my phone and I was horrified because I could not see my own videos that I was
Because the
posting.
live videos were
All
everywhere.
I saw was Zizaran live, Zizaran live, Zizaran live. And I was like, well, this is awful.
Yeah.
You
I
can
get
hide
that.
that.
So,
You can have it. You can have it so they don't send those out. We don't.
It doesn't push to sub boxes. Yeah, you can hide that on each individual video.
right.
And
I
also,
might
you can
need-
monetize them. There's no question after my testing. There's no question that monetized YouTube VODs make way more than Twitch VODs. Like per.
Oh,
Yeah.
well, yeah,
Way
like
more.
0 cents to
Significantly.
actual money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
I
if
might
it's the
need
kind
a
of thing
quick
where.
tutorial. I might need a quick tutorial on how to keep the VOD up, but not spam people because it was so bad.
Yeah, Maximilian dude went on Twitter about it recently, so that's where
we
I
can
learned.
we can take this offline and do all sorts of stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because I saw that tweet and I couldn't really figure it out except by doing what I did. So
Anyways, I told you before the show that I was going to have a question from us added to your interview question list. However,
Alright.
Zeke is going to be the one to do it. Me and Cohh will not
Okay.
be. So
I like
please, Zeke, what should we ask Jonathan, the game director on Path of Exile 2?
I mean, you put me on the spot here, dude. Like, you
100%.
could have like prefaced it before the show started and said like, get my creative juices flowing for a good question.
No, we're not professional here.
Zeke, I think the less you think about it, the better, to be blunt.
Yeah.
Okay. Is the game why was it a conscious choice to make the game more difficult than PoE 1?
Holy shit, a real question. Zeke, you were supposed to say, how can I play this by smacking my penis on the controller?
That's true.
That's a really good one.
And will you have a control scheme for that?
Okay.
No, I'm sorry.
There you go. Ziz is adding it into the list. Fantastic.
That's a damn good question. That's like an
Really good
actual
one.
legit great question. Yeah.
I was fully expecting it to be something that I could answer.
Okay, can I go back and do what I do now?
Oh man, I love on the spot stuff. Fantastic. The other thing, just complete topic swap. You've been playing some hardcore WoW. We all talked about, or I guess we all saw your death. We haven't done a show since the passing of Zizaran the Mage. But yeah, DC death. How was that?
Yeah, I really thought that we would avoid that by playing in a duo. So obviously me and Steel were playing together, and we actually have the same ISP, but we do live like a little bit apart. So yeah, I was hoping there would be no DC death, and we pulled like 13, 14 Murlocs, and then suddenly we're just running and nothing's happening, and I'm like, oh okay, excellent. So we died like level 37, 36, something like that.
Oh, I thought you were hired. I thought that was like in the 40s, but no. Okay.
No. And we were having a blast. Like we were doing like 28-hour sessions, and
Wow.
so much fun. And
Yeah,
like huge shout out to Soda, who's
dude,
probably
it's crazy.
one of the few, if not the only person that can pull this off.
Yeah.
And it's
Yeah,
just
dude.
so fun. And I really enjoyed it. I hope he makes it a regular thing. I will always play if I have time and there's no crazy PoE launch
I
happening.
hope to jump in 3.0.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
It's wild how I don't obviously like collaborations are the lifeblood of 2024 Twitch, but like I have not seen a collaborative effort on on the platform that is this scope and has this many different people from such different backgrounds all playing the same thing. And of course it's got to be World of Warcraft, which there's like a beauty in that as well, but also from just the beginnings of live streaming, there's also a beauty in that. But it's so good. It's such a fascinating collaborative thing to just take part of. And I hope they continue to build on it. I hope it becomes like an annual event or a biannual event.
Yeah, I mean, it was super fun for us. The reason we went so high was streamer ego, because Soda made a list of who are the sweats and who are the non-sweats.
Yeah.
And we got put on the non-sweat list, and we definitely took that personally.
Oh,
We're
I
like,
100% knew you would.
Oh God, Ziz, I'm
Okay.
sorry. Are you okay?
No, I even
man.
asked during the meeting. I was like, I've been awake for like 28 hours. Can I be moved to the sweat list? And they just laughed at me. I'm like, all right,
Yeah.
we're running another 28-hour session.
And that's my favorite part about it is Soda is in this position where, you know, he has command over like 500 plus people, all of varying sizes and egos and all that shit. And he doesn't give a fuck. Like he's the only person that could do that, I think, on this entire platform and not have, you know, the ego that I think could very easily be obtained, or the pompousness of being like, oh no, you're so-and-so. That's completely
Brother,
fine.
You're thinking about this wrong. It's not that his ego is so far beyond.
You think it's
everyone.
an ego
Oh,
beyond
God.
everyone else?
He is on a level that is unattainable by others, and therefore anytime there is a challenge, it's just an overwhelming defeat. Like there's no other, which I think is how he's handling it so well.
It could be.
Soda was actually one of the reasons I started streaming, and I used to have like this like recurring sub message when I resubbed to him about me being a marble, and he would just like he would read the message and then just be like, "This guy's so fucking stupid."
Yeah,
It's great.
yeah. Yeah. I mean, there's something to be said when there's like drama around this, because of course there's going to be drama around a World of Warcraft guild. When there's like drama between two massive, really pillars of Twitch, and one of them is just like, dude, you're being a fucking bitch. Like that is a literal lie to the other one. And he's just like, I'm fucking done with this conversation. I'm going to move on with my day. Like, it's crazy to me that that's the same kid that I saw on X-Fire, 15 years ago saying the most heinous shit I've ever fucking heard. And now he's just like, nah, I don't have time for this fucking shit. So
yeah, I really hope he keeps doing it.
Yeah,
I really liked the whole like Harry Potter theme to this too, with making it into basically different houses.
Okay, that's like the PG version. This is like straight up race wars, like this.
Yes, but I'm on somebody else's podcast, so I'm like, can I say that I really enjoyed the racism? Like,
yeah,
it was really fun.
Dude, it's hilarious. Like Imaru, who's like the most wholesome streamer of all time, she's like, all right, here are some new racist terms that you can use for all of the races in WoW on our daily news feed for OnlyFans, and then just start saying racist terms.
I think Ziz may have just said his most heinous out of quote context ever on this show in the last 20 seconds. I love it.
I really stopped caring about that, because with AI now, anyone can make me say anything. So I'm like, I don't. That's actually said something worse.
And it doesn't exactly hurt that you have a very unique voice. So that just makes it easier. The more unique your voice sounds, the easier AI has with it. So
so for those that are new and aren't familiar with me, the reason I sound like this is just because I'm sick. I actually have a very deep and pleasant voice normally.
He sounds like Pirate software. He used the same software that Pirate actually uses to
that's true.
Yeah, it's kind of wild. Well, I think that's good. I think we'll let you go on your way. What's on the docket before Friday? How much, what do you, besides the Jonathan interview, what's your day-to-day like till Friday?
Definitely some stalling and farming viewers, like just looking at stuff.
Yeah.
And getting, I'm also gonna figure out subathon goals and stuff. One of them's gonna be a tattoo. That's
you're gonna one of the goals is gonna be a tattoo?
Yeah.
Is it gonna be a Ziz tattoo or a PoE tattoo?
Either Gauntlet or the PoE logo. I mean, I feel like at this point PoE has completely changed me and my family's life. So
sure.
But I'll be doing a lot of calls and talks with other streamers, like mini podcasts and stuff. I like talking to people. So
yeah.
Me and Ziggy is gonna do a talk, me and Woody, the other people as well.
Cool.
I think you should get log in and have your nipple be the O.
Definitely not that. Definitely not that.
All right,
come on,
Zeke. You get a
Great
question
suggestion.
in the interview. No more tattoos. Get Zeke.
I'm doing my job, JP.
You're supposed
JP,
to
I'm
keep them in
doing
this box, guy. Where's your fucking
the job
handler?
that you've had me on this show for
Where's
years.
your
I'm
fucking
doing my
handler?
job.
You think this man can afford a handler? What are you drinking?
No, it's our handler that we bought to handle him. He doesn't have his own handler.
Oh,
anyways,
I didn't know we had a handler.
Oh, we've got a handler. I send you the invoice. You just sign things. You don't even look anymore. That's where you're at. Go.
You're a cheap date.
Ziz, do some shout outs. Where can people check you out?
Yeah, I'm Zizaran on everything. I will be streaming loads of PoE 2. It'll be my life for the next foreseeable future. And I love that description. That's funny. But yeah, thanks so much for having me, and excited to explore the game with you all on launch. And I'm going in blind as well, which is great.
Fantastic.
Love it.
You can just close the link. You can make a silly face. It'll capture your last frame on the video and say goodbye. Thank you so much for
appreciate you being here, man.
In. I will ask, do you want us to keep the podcast on your stream, or are you going to stream? We can shut it down very easily.
No, I'm not going to stream. You can keep it there. Also, my mom wanted me to shout out that I'm from Norway.
Hey, cool.
Hey, Mom.
Real quick, we're gonna probably be contacting you soon in the future because we're gonna need a post PoE 2 recap episode.
That's right.
Sounds great. I'm down.
Just get ready.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, you don't need to. You don't need to take it down. So I just close the link.
In what,
Yeah.
like next October when he's finally comes out of his like haze and-
No, don't worry. He can play during the show. He can just keep playing PoE and
Okay,
just do
okay.
Discord on his side and just call in, and we can do the whole show. It'd be great.
Fantastic. Yeah. Yeah. Just make a funny face and close the links. That's all you got to do. Easy peasy. Love it. Beautiful. He got the objective.
Oh,
right.
that's fantastic.
Fantastic.
That's
Yeah.
fantastic.
We are going to keep the stream up if you're watching live over on Ziza's stream. So welcome to it. And if not, we're done with the PoE discussion. We're going to talk a little bit about news and everything else going on in the world of gaming. And then a little bit about what we've been playing. But first, we didn't get a chance to do this because we jumped straight into PoE.
Wait, Ziz in your chat. I wasn't told it was gonna stay there.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, that's literally what I said.
I thought that literally is what you said. Yeah.
I mean, it's not like we're not gonna manipulate the image.
Do
or
you
anything.
have a picture of a hot dog? I'm asking for no reason in particular.
I can get one if you would like.
That would be.
Let me.
I don't know. That
let's-
might be that. I mean, I could. Mm-hmm.
Oh, let me not. Okay, hold on. I almost searched hot dong. Let me hot dog.
Yeah, don't search hot dong. No,
Yeah, no,
Oh
no,
no!
that was,
do not Google that.
yeah, that was,
For any non-English speakers at home, do not Google that.
That
please.
was almost an oopsie, but it wasn't. We're good now. Yeah. Ziz, while I'm or not Ziz, Zeke, while I'm doing this, how's your fucking finger, man? What the hell happened? I looked over.
Oh yeah.
I'm grinding WoW for like a 12-hour
Right.
stream, and I see
Yeah.
Code in the drop frames chat, and he's like, "Dude, Ziz, are you like, or Zeke? What
Zeke.
happened? What happened? I don't know why. I still got Z
Yeah.
on the brain. What happened? Why are you the ER? Like, is everything okay?" And I'm like, "What the fuck went out? Like, what happened? How'd it go down?"
What happened was the whole trip to Billings was cursed, and I was completely unaware until the curses kept falling upon me.
Oh,
The first curse was as we were leaving, we hadn't gotten snow here in Denver for like weeks. Like we had a couple of, a few weeks ago, we had a little bit of dump, but like blizzard, like immediately when we're going to go, when we're going to leave. Thankfully, like it didn't last like until like we got out of Colorado and got into Wyoming, and it dissipated by then. But it was like our first thing was like just dumped on blizzard, like fog, like all in front of your face. It was shit.
yeah.
So we get out, and then, sorry, I'm gonna lead up to this to the finger.
Okay.
But we get out of there, and I tell my lady, I said, driving through Wyoming is terrible. It's awful, because they have the Wyoming Highway Patrol has nothing better to do than to pull people the fuck over for very, very minor infractions.
Sure.
And so we actually committed one of those minor infractions by not, there was a highway patrolman who had pulled over somebody already, and we didn't merge to the left lane as we were passing them. Apparently that's a law, not just courtesy. That is a law.
Oh, weird.
So-
Okay.
Oh.
Yeah. If you see a vehicle, emergency vehicle on the right side, pulled somebody over or helping someone with stalled vehicle or whatever, you must pull over to the left lane or you get a ticket, which we did, which I was like, oh, it's not going to be that much. It was $240. Like, Jesus Christ.
That's
Like,
crazy.
I know. I was like,
God,
God
dude.
damn, dude.
Never going to
Yeah.
that state. What the fuck?
No, Wyoming is terrible to drive through because they have nothing better to do than to pull people over. It's the least populated state in the union for a reason because it sucks out there. I'm from Montana. I can say
Sorry
that.
from anyone that's
Wyoming.
watching from Wyoming.
No. Fuck Wyoming.
Oh no.
Montana's way better. Move north
It's
or move
I'm
south to
hu-
Colorado.
Zeke, I'm big in Wyoming. I'd like you to slow down a little bit, please.
Oh, with the 3 people who actually have internet out there. Oh, good,
It's
okay.
7.
Sorry.
Fantastic.
Anyway, so we got our ticket. We were both pissed, and but we went on our merry way. We got to my brother's house, who we're staying with in Billings, and he has 2 dogs. We have 2 dogs, and one of the dogs can be very nervous around other dogs. Like, he's great with humans, but he can be very nervous around other dogs, and got into like a little growling, like snapping match with one of my dogs, and I went to separate them, I grabbed a snout, and I grabbed
Snoot.
the snout at the wrong time. And my finger wrapped around and got caught underneath the tooth of one of them and just went like a stapler. Just went like straight through my fingernail.
Jesus. Okay.
Yeah.
Good God.
Yeah. So like I went to the sink and I'm like dropping blood the whole way. And Katie didn't know what happened because I was just like, oh, and that was all the only sound I made. And she was like, because we got them apart, we got the other dog kenneled. And she's like, what happened? Are you okay? Did you get hurt? Is that your blood on the ground? I'm like, yeah, probably. And she was like, let me see it. And I went, no, no, you cannot see this. And she goes, is it bad? I'm like, I wouldn't go to the hospital, but I'm going to let someone outside
like
of me.
Your finger like hanging off of like the rest of your finger?
Yeah.
Yeah, go to the fucking hospital. Like,
Yeah.
How would you not go to the Like, what?
That's classic
What?
American bullshit right there.
No, it's just like if you can avoid going to the hospital, you do in the United States.
That's how it is in the U.S. Yeah.
Not
So-
wrong.
Yeah.
So I drew a little diagram on my finger here.
Okay.
So this part of my finger was
gone.
almost off.
Yeah.
Like completely off.
Yeah.
Because it chomped right through the nail. And it like there was a little flap of skin. Like right there, like holding the chunk of my finger on. And I was like, oh, we can just glue it or whatever. And she was like, let me see it. I was like, okay. She's like, we're going to the emergency room right now. I was like,
Yeah.
all right. You made the call.
100%.
However, good part of this story, I have never, ever in my life been to a hospital, a walk-in clinic, anything that was this fast. So I'm going to give a shout out to St. Vincent's in Billings, your ER. I was in and out of that place with stitches in like an hour and 10 minutes.
Damn. Okay.
It was
Oh my
insane.
God.
It
That's
was
pretty crazy.
It was
yeah.
the Wednesday
insane.
before Thanksgiving. And I thought I was going to be in there for 5 or 6 hours at least.
Yeah.
Dude,
What-
I had
I
to go
got
to the
in,
urgent
they're like,
care
"Check
for
in."
pneumonia.
Yeah.
I wasn't out of there for 4 hours. And they weren't that busy.
Yeah. Yeah.
No, it was insane. Like I've never been into a hospital like for a visit or anything like that. Even a scheduled fucking appointment
Takes longer.
that took that little time.
Yeah. Now.
So I go in, they look at it, they wrap it. We had like a paper towel on it as we were going to the place. And I took the paper towel off. They wrapped it. They're like, okay, just go have a seat. And I was like, all right, here we go. And I walk to the bathroom to throw the bloody paper towel away, throw it in the garbage, come back out. I am like, I swear to God, I get to my seat and I'm like this. Zeke, I'm like, wait, me? You mean me? And they were like, yeah, you come on back. And I was like, I didn't even get to sit down. I didn't wait like
That's
at
awesome.
all.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it was great. So they took me back. They did, blood pressure, saw a couple nurses. The surgeon or the doctor came in. I guess he was a surgeon. He sewed me back together.
Yeah.
But he was just like, yep, no problem. Let me see. And he's like, numbed up my finger. And he's like, Katie described it as he was not ginger with your finger wound after it got numbed up at all. He was like just jabbing at it, like, okay, it looks like the bone's still in place. Didn't chip or anything. He's just like, I know. I'm glad he was. So I didn't see it.
No, okay.
But she was like, he was really just jamming in there.
There you go. How it goes.
But then, yeah, he sewed it up really fast. It took 8 stitches in different places because it was like a jagged, like separation. So he had to
Yeah.
you couldn't sew it in like one curve or one line. So it was like poke 3 stitches, poke 3 stitches. So he did that 8 times, and then I was sent home. And then after all that, we got ourselves some fast food, went home, and we're like, this has been a hell of a day. Let's go to bed. First, let's my wife likes marijuana, so she was like, I'm gonna go smoke some marijuana outside. Would you like to join me? We're gonna take dogs out for the last time and then go to bed. I was like, okay, sure. We go outside, shut the back door, in our socks and pajamas and shit like that, and the door locks. We are locked out, and my brother's not home. So we're sitting there in our socks, like, and it is below freezing, just like, oh my God, please don't do this. Went around the front door's locked, like, Jesus God. And the thing is, I've called my brother in the past, and it takes about 3 times calling him, or 2 days, depending, before he gets back to me. So I'm like, we are fucked. I'm going to have to break a fucking window or something. Katie calls him, answers on the second ring. He's like, yep. I'm like, you bitch, you total bitch.
Yeah,
I can't believe you got him on the phone.
Yeah, that's a you thing.
Yeah, must be a me thing.
Have her call next time. Yeah.
But thankfully got him on the phone and was like, yeah, there's a hide key. It's like, oh, good. Okay. So we got the hide key. We went inside. But like, that was the entire day. It was just a shit day from start to finish.
That's a long day. Yeah. Well, I'm glad everything is
all
all right.
my finger's fine. No infection. I'm taking amoxicillin every day, and I should get the stitches out in a week.
Cool.
Oh, yeah.
Fantastic.
But it does. I was like trying to type to people, and I was like forgetting that I had this big like thing on there. So I'm like typing W and E at the same time, and E and R at the same time.
Yeah.
So I'm back to hunting and pecking, which sucks.
There you go. And then Cohh, have you kicked the pneumonia? Is that out of your system?
Pretty much. Yeah, I'm at the very tail end of recovery, but
okay,
finally done with most of that.
Yeah, that's jeez. Okay. Everyone's healthy.
Mm-hmm.
My health update, I get my hearing aid Wednesday. I'm very excited for it. So I'll be able to hear out of the left ear again. It'll be fantastic. I can hear Zeke at full volume then. Looking forward to it.
Yeah. Super.
Yeah.
I mean, no one would blame you for taking it out on drop frame days.
We'll see. We'll see what happens.
If you want to keep me a little muffled.
We'll see what happens. Anyways, it's time for the hot dog update with Ziz. There you go.
Yay!
Yeah, fantastic. We got a hot dog update.
Can we Lady in the Tramp it?
Good luck, Ziz.
Yes. You have to turn the other way, though.
This way?
No, the other way.
Other way.
Oh, wait, hold on.
What are you doing?
1 second.
If you're going to flip your camera, I can just do that.
There.
This show.
Turn the other way. Other way.
Oh, you already did it. You already flipped it.
I don't know what we're doing.
I didn't know. I flipped it too. So I'm going to unflip it. You just stay where you are.
Ziz, I'd like to apologize on behalf of Drop Frames. You're a real champion, buddy. Thanks for putting up with us.
There we go. Okay.
He's so tiny.
Why am I so small?
There you go. Now you're on top of the hot dog. Now you're on top of the hot dog, Zeke. Now you can
All right, dude. This is happening. Wait, this way. Oh, taking me out for hot dogs. Thank you, sis.
Fantastic. Quality content here for the podcast.
Fucking yeah, that took longer than it was worth.
Yeah.
I do that all the time, though.
That's
kind of my MO, really.
Yeah. Let's get to the news of the week. The Witcher 4. That's right. The Witcher 4 has entered full-scale production. CD Projekt has confirmed. Okay, it's one of those things. It's the quote biggest news on this this Reddit that I use as kind of our news source in terms of upvotes over the past week. But yeah, we know nothing apart from that. I think we've talked about on this show where we want that story to go, or where we would like that story to go, but they haven't really confirmed if that's going to be a new Witcher, if that's going to follow Ciri, if that's going to be make your own Witcher. The fact that it's just now beginning, I guess it's going to be a while before we learn any of that information.
Entering full production. So it's been pre-production for a while, but this is the ramp up. We're doing it.
The CFO Piotr, I guess let's go with that. He said, "I'm pleased to announce that several weeks ago it moved on to a full-scale production. It is codenamed Polaris, and it is now part of the latest quarterly earnings. Of all our projects, this one is currently the most far along, and we're starting the most intensive phase of development. I wish to thank the team, and I'm keeping my fingers crossed for further progress. The game director is Sebastian Kalimba. He also posted on Twitter and said, I'm thrilled to announce that Project Polaris has entered the full-scale production phase. So I would say, 2 years before we see anything on that? Maybe 3, depending on how...
I think they learned a lot from Cyberpunk.
Sure, yeah.
So, I mean, I think there's a reason, or I think there's a reason we haven't seen anything really about this, and they're entering pre-production. We still don't know anything about it.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. They're playing this one differently, so it's going to be kind of hard to tell.
Yeah, it'll...
I'd say, yeah, 3. Cat's saying 3 to 4. I'd agree with that.
It's going to be fun to follow them and see what they take from the Cyberpunk process and change or not change anything when it comes to talking about the game that they're working on and how they show that stuff. Because they probably learned a whole lot from that whole Cyberpunk situation. I think you can even see that just from how they've treated the DLC for Cyberpunk and all their community-facing projects in recent times. So we'll all wait and see what happens with The Witcher 4. But for now, we're not going to know any other information about it, I'm sure. Maybe something in like 3 years, maybe a teaser of a character or something. But it's going to be a while. Speaking of absolutely badass games, Baldur's Gate 3 came out with, just a small little community update, number 3, including 12 subclasses, crossplay, and photo mode that'll be added next year. Did they say exactly what time? It's going to be in patch 8. They didn't give a time frame. It just said early next year. Yeah. Crossplay, obviously huge there. But the 12 subclasses, absolutely insane. Every class in the game will be getting a brand new subclass with multiple spells. I thought that they were done. Like, I could have sworn that they were like, yeah, we're not really going to be making any more content. And then this past week, they just came out and dropped this. It's going to be great. My 2 ones that I'm looking forward to is the Drunken Master for the Monk. I think that's a fantasy that a lot of people would want to play, as well as the Warrior one, which was it the Giant? Yeah, Barbarian for Path of the Giants. So you get Giant's Rage passive initially in the game, and you can just throw everything, which will be absolutely badass. So probably going to see more runs of that, I would say, next year, whenever that comes out. The mods are also carrying that game right now. So many people are playing for the first time or going back and doing second playthrough because of the mods that have been added to it and are constantly being created. It's a good time to be a Baldur's Gate 3 fan, at the very least. Mm-hmm. They're crushing it out there. What else do we got? Do we want to include the conversation about Elon Musk wanting to buy Hasbro into that?
What?
Yeah. I don't know how much
I haven't heard that yet.
I don't know how much real truth there was to him saying that, but he did say how much is Hasbro cost on Twitter, I think was the exact tweet.
He's kind of gone into this mode where he likes publicly flirting with the idea of buying companies that he or his audience feel are woke.
Yeah.
And then changing that. Hasbro's not the first one. He actually is now making a AI gaming company.
Yep.
Which is again following that exact same line of I will either make it myself or buy it to make it how I want it to be.
Yep.
So it, a guy with a whole lot of money that was wanting to be kind of neutral is becoming pretty opinionated and starting to go down his paths, and we'll see where it leads.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. This heel turn is the joke is done. You can go back to being the guy we sort of semi-like a little bit. So oh man, Hollywood Hogan, you did a good job. But now turn it back around, buddy, please.
Please.
Please. Please.
Yeah, I'm it's going to be very interesting to see what this AI company does and how it functions and like what they're going to be promoting and how, it's going to be very interesting.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, to say the least. We'll keep an eye on all that and report on it as the news comes in. If you can tell, we're really excited about it here on the show. That would be accurate way to describe our general mood towards the whole thing. What else is happening? Not necessarily the biggest news, but I do love giving any type of flowers to No Man's Sky. The all-time Steam review has now turned very positive after 8 years, which, given the state of that, when that game launched all those years ago, that's pretty fucking awesome. And they deserve every bit of it. And I think they're going to carry, like Cohh said so many times on the show, they're going to carry all that goodwill into their next game and hopefully just knock that one out of the park. But yeah, pretty big deal. I think Sean stated or had always kept an eye on the fact that they had wanted to change those Steam reviews over time all those years ago. And now they finally did it. It just took 8 years and 20 updates or something on that game. I don't know how many there's been, but countless updates that have only done positive things for the game. So Balatro, I saw, had a 4.4 million spending surge on mobile after their Game Awards nomination for Game of the Year. So I think that also it does two things. One, shows how crazy a Game of the Year nomination can be for I wouldn't call it, I guess niche would be the best way to describe Balatro, in terms of just getting it out there in front of new faces and everything. But also how good that fucking game is and maybe how many games go unnoticed by kind of mass consumption on that platform and never really get a highlight. So huge shout out to the Balatro singular dev on that, or the Balatro team. I guess now they probably have one. We'll see what happens at the Game Awards. Are we watching that together? We haven't had that conversation yet. Are we gonna?
I am definitely watching it.
Okay, that's on the 12th next Thursday. I think it's 7 Eastern is when that'll go down. I know there's we'll talk offline because there's some things around that that I think you guys have also been contacted about. We'll talk about that offline though. But we'll definitely be watching it one way or the other, whether it's all three of us or whether it's cameras, no cameras, voices, however it goes down. We'll let you guys know probably next Sunday because it'll still be prior to that on the 8th. But Cohh, you're gone next weekend, aren't you?
I am gone. I am gone the 6th, afternoon of the 6th, 7th, and 8th, doing a vacation with the family, taking the kids to a winter wonderland.
What did it look like when you realized what you had done, Cohh?
It was a look of confusion and me thinking there was a 1 in front of those dates that wasn't there. So basically, for those that don't know, what happened is my wife and me had planned this vacation months ago, but for some reason I had thought it was on the 16th, 17th, and 18th. And so we actually planned like PoE 2 stuff, everything. And then a couple weeks ago, she's like, hey, just making sure, we're going on vacation a couple weeks. And I was like, Nani? What? and that led to that. So yeah, no, we're definitely 100% sticking to it. I will, of course, miss the very beginning of the PoE 2 stuff, but I will be there on the 9th with bells on, hopefully with working servers. So the thing is I'm not really horribly too sad about it because I was always planning on doing a big lore run. It's going to go really slow anyway.
Yeah.
I'm not going to be, I'm not rushing to get anywhere in any amount of speed. So
Okay.
It's, not too big of a deal for me. I was going to be behind the curve anyway.
Yeah. You, I would like to say, man, you're going to miss out on a great weekend, but given all the conversation
we'll see.
around
Maybe
it,
maybe I will. We'll see. But, I'll be doing my own thing.
I was on stream 4 or 5 days ago, and I made the big claim that there would be 0 issues with Path of Exile 2 launch. And now every single day since, my community loves to link the clip and say, hey, remember when he said this, you fucking moron? So we'll see how that goes. I hope I'm right.
I was gonna say, I hope I'm wrong. I hope I'm wrong and it goes super smooth and it's awesome. You know, like that would be the dream. If I get back and everything's been great for the last couple of days, that'd be awesome.
Yeah.
Sure.
Not only is it next Friday going to be PoE day, there's a whole slew of games coming out. Indiana Jones launches on that same day. Biggest release probably for Xbox this year. Previews for that have been pretty positive. Seems like there's a lot of buzz around it. And then Marvel Rivals is also going to be launching. It's I think that launches actually on Thursday evening here in the States, so it's going to be a little bit before the 6th. But they had their big launch trailer yesterday, which as a I'm not a weeb, as we all know here, and everyone is agreeing upon. However, that trailer is very weeby. In its 1 minute launch.
So you loved it.
I thought it was a fantastic launch trailer. Yeah, but I'm not a weeb. It had nothing to do with that whatsoever.
Nah, not at all. Not a bit.
Yeah, it had nothing to do with that whatsoever. They debuted Squirrel Girl, everyone's favorite Marvel character. Squirrel Girl's going to be in there. Go watch that trailer, I guess, if you're at all curious about Squirrel Girl. The internet will have a lot to say about Squirrel Girl, I would assume.
Is this a Stellar Blade situation?
Cohh, she's 14.
Oh, God, really?
In some canons, yeah.
I don't even know who that is. Okay. Oh, God, no. So wait. Now I'm actually confused what you're talking about.
I am too. I am too. Let's.
What are you talking about?
I'm just sitting here glad that wasn't me who said anything. I'm like,
dude, that's a little.
Debate. Woo. She is an adult in the 616 universe. It depends on where they're pulling her from in the multiverse, Cohh. Okay.
Oh, she's a furry.
Well, she's a squirrel.
She's an actual squirrel.
She's a squirrel girl. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. She's a squirrel girl.
Okay.
Yeah.
I honestly, the first time I heard of her was Snap.
We're good.
Yeah, she canonically
She
defeated
shoots acorns.
Thanos. Yeah, she's actually Junkrat. She's actually Junkrat, which is
Okay.
kind of.
Does she rev up like a cadre of squirrels in a spherical shape and then?
It's funny you say that because yes, that's exactly what her ultimate
Oh, is it what it is?
Yeah.
Nice.
Here's the gameplay trailer that took the internet by storm yesterday. Her ultimate is at the end of it. They announced 5 other heroes in the grand scheme of that. I think is there 32 at launch for that game. All are free. Skins, obviously going to be how they monetize it. And I will be buying most likely every single one because I'm that target.
Wow.
So,
damn. So this game is going to make them a lot of money.
this game's going to be stupidly successful. Yeah, it's going to be.
Really? Okay.
I think it's. I mean, the beta it was as good as Overwatch, and the Overwatch community really dislikes Overwatch right now. So there's a pretty significant push for the next Overwatch, and it's kind of seeming like it's going to be this. I think you sprinkle a little bit of Marvel on there, and put some fan favorite skins and some fan favorite characters in it. You're gonna have a lot of people. You're gonna have a lot of people playing it. It definitely will not be like a Concord situation at all.
Like how much are they leaning into this? Are they gonna be doing like big tournaments, and are we gonna be seeing like big pushes on Twitch kind of thing, or is this?
I think you'll see big pushes on Twitch for sure. I don't know about like the esports. I don't know if they even care. They have a ranked mode, but I don't know if they care about like esports in that game. I think they're just looking to sell skins. I'm sure the community will want some form of tournament with it, but yeah, I think the biggest hurdle for a lot of people, at least a lot of people in our sphere, I think general video game folk won't care, but it's a NetEase made game, so that's going to be a hard pill for a lot of folks to swallow. But I think if you're a Marvel fan of any generation, whether it's the MCU or comics or anything like that, they're kind of putting things in there that are just like, holy shit, I can't believe I get to play as that character in a like AAA competent video game that's not just some random mobile thing, like a whatever. There's so many different Marvel properties on mobile now. This is like an actual AAA thing. And it's not like a Marvel Avengers. It's just Overwatch at the end of the day. When it comes to like all the modes and stuff like that, but they have a ton of characters, and they're all free at launch. It's only skins, so I'm sure the free to play will go a big way for that game. And it launches on the 6th everywhere, but I think it's Friday night here in the US.
Less than a week.
So I think the beta also did really well when it launched. I think they did 2 closed betas, and it did really well. So that'll probably be. I'm actually curious to see how many people play that compared to Path of Exile, because like Path of Exile definitely big, right? Especially in our circles. But I don't know, like mainstream wise, if it's gonna crack that, if it's gonna go into that world. I don't know. I really don't know how many people outside of the circles that we run in are like, man, I can't wait for PoE. Very interesting. Interested to see those numbers come Friday.
I think the sales on Steam are probably a big indicator in like its position and how well it's doing. Like,
yeah,
seems to be pretty freaking hype.
It does, yeah, without question. I just want to see the overall numbers. Like I should ask Ziz, because it is split across the 2 clients, like GGG's clients and Steam's client. I wonder how big it'll get on Steam. If they'll cross 500,000, if they'll cross 1 million, I don't know. Could be. If the servers work, I think is the other big component to it, right? It might hit 400,000 and just fucking die.
Viper said Ziz can't answer right now. He's eating.
Ziz, he's a little preoccupied. Yeah, he's a little preoccupied.
A little busy right now.
Yeah. And then you've also, going back to Marvel. Marvel is Marvel, right? It's one of the biggest IPs in the world, and it's free. That might be a recipe for just a massive fuck ton amount of people.
Yeah, that could be huge.
Jumping in. We'll just have to see. I'm sure we'll talk about it. We'll have those numbers next Sunday and dive in. Although am I going to be able to tear myself away from Path of Exile next Sunday? I don't. Zeke, we might need to talk.
What?
Might not have a show.
Show. No, yeah, I was fully
aware,
expecting us not to have a show.
Yeah,
because of like all the releases that are being piled on, and Cohh won't even be here.
Yeah, Cohh's going to be on vacation, so I will let you know.
Take the day to play some PoE. No one's gonna hate you for it.
Well, here's the other thing. I'm also massively addicted to Warcraft right now, and so that's that's also not.
Oh God, and Soda's gonna kick your ass if you play. Like if you go into PoE 2, and he'll probably just get you kicked off Twitch somehow.
Well, Cohh, I'm 8 minutes late to a guild meeting right now, so I'm already gonna get some flack.
Never mind, you're already done. Yeah, you're good, you're already done.
I might be getting some flack.
Man's done. Pack it up. Stream's gonna go down any minute.
We'll see what happens between now and then. We'll go into the WoW stuff in just a bit. I want to continue on with a little bit of news.
He is done, and not just on Twitch.
That's right. That's right. There was a little bit of Avowed popped up this past week for a lot of different reasons. The reason that I'm most interested in, the skill up video that I saw, he was really about it. All of the hands-on
he was
impressions,
Avowed.
Yeah, he was Avowed. That's a great way to put it. People are folks that have played it are really into that game. specifically Skill Up, and Skill Up was quite harsh, famously, honestly, well, on Dragon Age. So for him to say that about Avowed and kind of go in and be that positive, he put about 25 minutes of it. It actually got me pretty excited for that game.
That's the story this week. That's the news.
That's it. There's no other news.
That's the real news. Yeah. There is other news, but I mean, that's the important news. That's the actual news, is that. And that's awesome. That's awesome.
That's right. Yeah. Game seems to be cooking. I thought it, given its release date in February, I thought it was going to be one of those games to be forgotten about because it's between so many other games in that absolutely stacked month. But it might be able to hold its own, given a lot of those previews. So we'll keep our eyes on that.
Other actual news? Okay. The other big news, and we'll just go ahead and say it, is one of the art directors got in a spat with Elon Musk. And basically, Elon Musk put a tweet up saying about how, why are games so racist against white guys? And I'm paraphrasing. And he screenshot that, and on Blue Sky put a post up saying something along the lines of, "I am going to do everything in my power to prove you wrong," and blah blah blah. It was back and forth jabbing. It was Elon saying something dumb, and this guy saying something equally dumb on his side. They were both being pretty dumb. The issue is, and this is a real issue, he is a lead in Obsidian, and he said something that could have people use what he said in questioning a lot of the things in his job. And that sucks, because there's no question that people who are tuned into that, who are looking for people saying that kind of stuff, found something with him. Something that actually has some juicy, he said something arguably pretty bad. It's what he said. Honestly, I kind of feel like he needs to publicly say something about. It could be taken out of context. It's kind of damning. So that's what happened. This was a tweet from, I want to say, years ago. I think it was from a while ago. And it just kind of came up, especially after the whole DAV fiasco. And basically what has happened is the target has now moved from DAV to Avowed. And there are now people who are calling for his resignation, calling for Elon to buy the company, Obsidian, from Microsoft, trying to get him fired. It has become a huge, huge issue. So that is what's going on. And for the record, I will say this again. What the dude said was damning. He does not get a pass. He said something that needs to be addressed in some way. Just to put it bluntly. Because there are people who are going to look at that and be like, with the wrong context, he is doing something. People are saying illegal. Chris Avellone, a guy that came out, he's a huge writer. He's done incredible things for the RPG genre. Chris Avellone came out and said anyone who has been turned away from Obsidian's art department should be contacting lawyers after what that guy said.
Yeah, I saw Chris Avellone tweet that. Yeah.
So, I mean, it's a deal. It's something, it's a thing. It's not just this little, two people being dumb on the internet. It's a thing that is going to have to be addressed in some capacity. Now, here's the problem. None of that has anything to do with how good Avowed is. And Avowed, people are like, "Oh, Cohh, are you going to still play Avowed?" Of course I am. I'm a huge Obsidian. Of course I'm going to play it. I can't wait to play Avowed. So that's where my disconnect is. Yeah, sure, that is something and it needs to be addressed and looked at and things need to be done. But that does not mean swear off Avowed. These are two different things. So, but of course there's going to be people that are not going to make that distinction. And if anything, are going to make the opposite argument and say, no, this is why I'm going to boycott this game. So that's the issue that they're now having to deal with and going to need to deal with. And I hope they do it properly. So we'll see.
Yeah. I think did all that go down on Friday? Is that when all that stuff happened?
It was fast and furious.
Okay.
That's for sure.
It was during the holiday break. So if they are going to say anything from a company or anything like that, it would be tomorrow when people return to work. But
for the people saying, what the hell was that guy thinking? I agree. I'm in full agreement with you. I have no idea what a person in that type of position was thinking on a professional account, tweeting that kind of message. It's baffling to me. So unneeded. Yeah, amazingly unneeded. So yeah, it's very frustrating.
It creates unneeded drama around all of it. There's no point. Yeah. Really silly stuff. And to go back and echo what you already said, has no actual weight or value on if the game's going to be good or bad. So at least we hope. I'm sure they'll continue digging.
Yeah, well, yeah, exactly. We'll see how it all. Yeah.
Sure, they'll continue digging till that releases, and probably even after. Games are selling. Dave the Diver reached 5 million copies sold. Shout out to them. Cyberpunk crossed 30 million this past week. Huge shout out to them. Fortnite, I think last night, broke their all-time concurrent player record. 14 million people logged in and watched the
Juice WRLD?
The finale featuring Juice WRLD. Yeah, the remix, the finale. I don't even know what the fuck's going on with it. I don't even know what it was.
Yeah, I saw like the finale. I was like, of what? I watched
it's
for
like
the game,
5
right?
seconds and I was like, is this a cop?
I'm not even sure what's going on.
I don't understand it. It's a classic case of two old men, no idea what the fuck happened.
Like Sultan in chat. What is Juice WRLD? Juice WRLD is a rapper. He is an artist. Yes, is actually a person.
Yeah, and
it was also apparently a world of juice.
It's WRLD and
was a rapper. I'm sorry, was a rapper.
Yeah.
Yes, he was a rapper. Yes.
Yeah, I think he passed away. I think.
Wait a second. Didn't he pass away like a while ago? Wait, is it the same Juice WRLD?
Yeah, and I want to say the reason they did it again was because of his passing.
Like 5 years ago.
Yeah.
Oh, it's like a tribute.
It was like a tribute type deal. Yeah.
Oh, that's cool. Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't make that connection. I'd actually heard about his passing, but I didn't realize this was the same guy.
The tribute was that they included Godzilla, and now Godzilla can do the gritty in Fortnite. That's the big tribute.
Oh.
Yeah. Massive Fortnite news for them right there.
Can you show us what that is? I don't know what that is.
Godzilla doing the gritty?
No. You do it and show me.
Zeke,
I thought that was a McDonald's menu
Zeke,
item.
I need to explain something to you, Zeke. Only I can bring spontaneous things onto the show and have you or partake. If you ask
I'm gonna
me
look up my contract again and see if that is actually true.
Like a dance. No.
I'm gonna talk to my union rep and see if I have leg to stand on here.
Okay. All right. Fair enough.
But yes, show me Godzilla doing the gritty then.
You don't.
If you're not gonna do it yourself.
Oh, okay. Hold on.
I don't know what that is.
Let me download or Google Godzilla gritty Fortnite. The most
now is it
popular,
gritty with T's or D's?
I think it's S or D's. Yeah.
Okay.
Wow, this is actually harder to find than I thought it was going to be. I can't find it. Maybe if chat can link it to me. Very important information that we'll get to the bottom of. Godzilla.
Oh my God. Okay.
The Fortnite.
Someone linked it in my chat. Thanks, Femigiri.
Okay.
I'm watching it now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good. It passes the Zeke inspection.
This one has several dances.
There's a lot of
okay,
dances
there we
in
go.
Fortnite.
There we go.
This is right.
It's just hopping up and down and like switching feet. Jeez, they're getting fucking lazy these days, dude.
Yeah, this is quite a timeline we live in right now.
Dude, Godzilla's serving. I don't know what you guys are talking about. Like, he's crushing.
Oh, that's that dance I saw. I remember that. Okay, yeah, I've seen this one. Okay, cool.
He's serving. Yeah. He's absolutely serving right there.
Man, that is not an image I'd ever thought I'd see in my life.
I fucking love Fortnite, man. What a game. I don't even play it.
Is this that AI they talk about?
Yes, absolutely.
It seems this is too powerful.
Absolutely.
This is not no.
Absolutely. Yeah. Cohh, I'm going to.
Yeah, didn't they put like a gangster walk in there? They put Snoop's Crip walk in there, and everybody was like,
"What a horrible day to have eyes."
Yep. Yeah. This is a huge fan of it.
Hey,
still
thank you
eating
for
that
that
hot dog. Still eating that hot dog.
We have a live reaction to the gritty Godzilla. Ziz, how we looking? Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you for that.
Great.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Cohh, when you do your Metro VR thing, which are you still planning on doing that? Is that still a go?
It's on the list.
Okay.
for
You need to
2027
play
whenever I can get
Trombone
to it.
Champ VR, please.
In VR.
Yeah, they've
Oh,
got
I will.
they've got a
I
VR.
absolutely will.
It's glorious.
My plan is to one of these days just come down to my office and just duct tape a headset on and then just do VR games until I figure out how to get it off for like a week or two.
Yeah.
I think that works.
Yeah. This is the Trombone Champ. It's great.
Oh God, that's so good.
It's full VR, and it's just as absurd as you would think it is. I fucking,
Wait, you don't move the trombone? Do you do that?
Yeah.
Yeah, you do have to do it like that. Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, that's so cool. That's so cool. Good on them, dude. What a great,
What an
like, way
awesome
to push
thing
that
for
forward.
those devs. Yeah. Just a huge win for those devs. Because it's
Have either of you played it?
I've watched
played-
extensive videos.
I
of it,
played the actual. Yes, I did a drinking stream of the.
Okay.
And it was amazing. I honestly did not. I haven't laughed that hard in probably since.
It's funnier than it has any right to be. I will
Yes.
be honest with you. Like I was like, oh yeah, trombone, like game, whatever. But it is pretty fucking funny how they do it. It's how it ends up coming out now. How it ends up sounding is
The best is when you know the song and you know
Yeah.
exactly how it's supposed to sound.
Yeah.
And then
it's like watching, like- I'm old enough to have VHS tapes of my like elementary school like recitals. It's like watching that just holy shit, it's Santa Claus.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Wow.
10 out of 10. Definitely check that game out if you have VR or you don't. It has a 2D version as well. So, and then a little bit of Twitch news, and we can talk the last 30 minutes or so about games. I'm trying to find the exact number. 723,000 subscribers is the all-time new record here on this platform as Cenat ended the Mafia 2 subathon. I think that was that Saturday morning or yeah, I think it was last Saturday morning, something like that. Just an astronomical, like Monopoly money levels of subscription. Just absolutely
it's
crazy.
amazing. It's
Yeah.
absolutely amazing.
Yeah.
I have to say, I have a huge amount of respect for what Kai does. And that's because on the 10 plus years I've been in the platform, I have seen so many people get to the point where they see insanely cool success or great strides, or they're making tons of money. So many times, what do those people do? Absolutely nothing. They just keep doing exactly what they're doing, or they keep taking deals. They don't change the show at all. They put nothing back into the stream. Kai is an example of somebody who gets success and then immediately goes, okay, how do I make my next stream better? And he's been doing that over and over and over and over. And then we do this subathon. And dude, the special guests he brought on and the events that he did, we have talked so many times on the show how subathons have lost meaning because people don't do subathons anymore. They just stream a lot and say it's a subathon and maybe stream a few extra hours a day and then go eat and sleep for 10 hours and get back on. It's a total joke. That's not what they ever were, and that's not what there's nothing cool about that.
Yeah.
But you have someone like Kai who is like, okay, I'm going to do a subathon, and you're going to see like 50 names that are huge. Many of them are going to surprise you. Travis Barker is going to wake me up with the drums. I'm going to have that spider dude from TikTok for most of the time do it. Like, it just every day a new huge name gets brought on. You know how much money that's costing him? Like, it's insane. So it's really cool to see, like, outside of him, and like, shout out to like Ludwig and QT Cinderella, like they're actually trying to do this kind of stuff too. But there's so few casters that keep trying to push forward. And it's awesome that we're seeing someone do that. And like, this was wildly successful. What he does next is going to probably be mind-blowing. Absolutely mind-blowing.
Yeah, Chad will have to correct me here. I think he said if he does Mafia-thon 3 as a third subathon and he hits 1 million subs, he's going to stop. Like, that's it. He's done streaming at that point if he goes and hits 1 million
But then what's he
subs.
going to do next? He doesn't
Yeah.
seem like the kind of guy that's going to sit still. Like,
Yeah.
after everything we've seen, like, even if he's not streaming, I'm sure he's just going to take all that money and do something like crazy big with it. He
Yeah.
already has enough money to stop. He's had enough money to stop probably a long time ago. So there's clearly more drive there that is far more interesting for all of us than just getting rich,
Mhm.
I'd say.
Yeah, he's
Which is awesome.
I think he was. I think I saw him tweet. It might have been Elon Musk that he wants to live stream going to space. He wants to do a Twitch stream while in space on one of those flights up there. He had there was 23 celebrities on the Mafia-thon 2. I'm not going to read them all, but Snoop Dogg, Marshmello, Serena Williams, the Jabberwockies, which is wild that they're still a thing. Bill Nye, the science guy.
That was one of the clips that I actually watched.
Bill Nye.
Yeah,
And Bill
that
Nye.
was crazy.
Bill Nye, Little Yachty, Chris Brown, Benny Blanco, Little Dicky was there. Yeah, and 23 total.
Can
massive
I ask
celebrities.
a random question?
Uh-huh.
This could be just real quick. Yeah. That's the same Chris Brown that got in a lot of trouble a while ago, right?
Yeah, that one was weird. I agree. That one
Did
was
it-
a little.
Did everyone just kind of forget about that? Like,
You can't.
Okay.
You can't ask Chris Brown about
Okay.
it. So you just kind of.
that was the only part of that where I was like, okay, this might be a little weird.
Yeah.
Like
I
I
mean,
don't even pay attention to that
if-
world, and I know that.
If we're being, if we do want to talk about the subathon,
Yeah, okay, so it was him.
with
Okay,
a little
yeah.
bit more of a microscope on it. There was some strange shit that happened on that subathon, like production.
There were a few.
yeah,
Yes.
production turned on the camera as someone did a lot, like a bump of cocaine, and it was like, there's no reason to have this camera on with someone just doing it, just taking
And
a
then-
bump, like
And then weirdly enough, nothing happened. Which is also very weird.
yeah.
Like a lot of people
I
kind of
mean,
like,
come on, we're desensitized, dude. We saw the president's son doing it, like
Yeah, that's true.
absolutely on camera,
That's
or the
true.
next president's
Next,
son.
yeah, president-elect, yeah. There's
Yeah.
there was some
there were some weird moments.
weird
there were some weird
moments on that thing, and like the whole subathon.
To be
in
fair
general-
though, with as much money that was around there, we probably saw less than we. Like I can only imagine.
well,
Oh yeah.
if people didn't watch a single second of it, for those unaware, he rented the mansion next to P. Diddy's mansion. His mansion was next door to the now infamous, I suppose, P. Diddy mansion. And he had the entire place cameraed up, like entire place cameraed up. He showered on stream. Anytime he would walk through a hallway, there was a new camera for it. It was actually, like, from a production standpoint, it was pretty awesome. The fact that all of that stuff was
It was pretty wild. At one point, he was like at the very top of the house, and one of his boys, and to Kai's credit, his reaction was pretty wholesome. One of his boys was downstairs having an allergic reaction of some kind. So what you get to see is Kai freak out, run out of the room he's in, and then it snaps to the hall camera, and he runs down the hall. Then it snaps to the top of the stairs, runs around the stairs, runs down the stairs, runs through there. It felt like a movie.
yes.
It was crazy, the production value, like in terms of how they were able to do all that. And someone was controlling the cameras this whole time.
Had
So
production all the time.
it was wild. It was absolutely wild.
Yeah. 30 days of that is not cheap. Like, he made a lot of money from that subathon for sure, but he
Probably spent
definitely
more.
spent a lot.
He
without
made so
question.
at 70 at a normal partner at 700,000.
It's impossible to do with regional though, right? Like,
Oh God, that's right. We can't. Well,
Yeah.
a best case would be like 7 times 3.5. And this is just with public things. So, but then on top of it, then you have to factor in taxes, which are going to take
well,
massive double-digit percentages of that.
probably made more
And-
money on ad revenue than subs.
Probably. Yeah, you're probably right.
Yeah. I mean,
Probably
100,000 average concurrent running. I think he was running like 14
What
minutes
were
of
his-
ads an hour.
was he?
So, like,
Oh, that's spice.
that's
That's spicy numbers.
That's actually, I don't
That's
know how
spicy.
much money that is
Never
because I don't
mind.
know what running ads with 100,000 viewers is like.
Never mind. He made bank. We're good. Never mind.
Well,
Take it all
they
back.
didn't hype it up a lot, but didn't he have a charity tie-in too, or not?
20% is going to a school in Nigeria. Yeah.
There you go. Okay.
I didn't hear that. That's
I just
awesome.
want to make sure that's mentioned.
Yeah, that is,
Cool.
and I think a lot. So the whole thing started. The reason that Mafia-thon 2 subathon started is because Iron Mouse did a subathon earlier this year and beat
Right.
Kai's record, and so yeah, that's why he did that. I thought it was also really cool that he actually had Iron Mouse come on the subathon on his subathon.
Yeah, that was cool.
was
Especially given how much like fucking nonsense Iron Mouse has had to deal with because of all of that. She just got like a shit ton of unwanted hate because of the fact that she's a VTuber. So Yeah, there was a bunch of like drama back and forth, but it was a nice thing that like Kai had her on and you know sent a good message.
Yeah, sent a very good message. That's
yeah,
right.
Yeah,
Agreed.
they had a wedding for drummer. I think on the 30th day or 29th day, and Kai said, "I'm gonna pay for you can go anywhere in the world. Just tell me where you want to go." I think they said they're gonna go to Japan, so he's paying for their honeymoon. Seems like you know he's doing a lot of favorable kind acts from all of that. So it was a good thing, and probably not a thing we're ever going to see beaten unless Kai decides to beat it. I don't think there's another content creator that could actually do something like that, and just sheer size and scope of all of that. It takes a massive fucking team to do something like that. And he probably has agents upon producers upon casting or talent managers managing all that talent. Kevin Hart was back on the show again, I think on like the 29th day or something like that. So just a wild thing for that subathon. That's kind of, I think, the only thing going on in Twitch news. I don't think there's anything else. I'm just loading up the Twitch blog. Yeah, they announced like they're doing an end of the year bonus round, but everything else kind of quiet on the Twitch front. There was a whole thing about ad rev and all that stuff, but that conversation's completely died down for some reason over the past 2 weeks. So we're not gonna bring it up. There's nothing to discuss there. Nothing at all. We are going to talk about video games.
Nothing to discuss where?
With all the Twitch ad revenue stuff.
Oh, right.
Yeah. It's almost as if it was all fucking made up. Let's talk video games. Stalker 2 is out. Cohh, I know you've been playing the shit out of it. How have the patches been?
Patches have been great, actually. There was a very large patch that went in, the 1.01 patch, and that did some great balancing stuff, fixed some bugs, helped with optimization. It reduced the sponginess of mutants. It was some great steps in the right direction. There's still a lot to be done.
Yeah.
Particularly the A-Life system needs basically a complete overhaul. There's clearly mechanics and systems that are missing that are not in the game yet. So, like, if I were to give a percentage, I'd say the game is like 80 to 85% done. However, it is important to mention that what is there is of a quality that I have not seen in games like this for decades. It is amazingly immersive. The stuff that the game does well, it does incredibly well. In some cases, like standalone well, like other games don't do it better. And there are parts of this game that are some of my favorite things I've played in any game. I'm having an absolutely incredible time playing it, and it's been great.
Yeah. We had Dan on it last week, discussing everything, and I don't know if the first patch was out at that time. I think patch 1.0 or 1.01.
There has been a second patch, 1.02, but it was just a paragraph of major bug fixes and quest stuff.
Oh, so they didn't like change or okay.
Patch 1.02 was a hotfix.
Got it. Okay, I didn't know it was not as significant as that first one.
Mm-hmm.
Cohh, apart from you, like, I've been so immersed in the fucking WoW stuff. Like, who else have you found other streamers that are also as honestly obsessed? I think Dan is playing it as much as you are with this, right?
Me, Dan, Clean. There's a group of like some of the Tarkov guys that came to Tarkov from Stalker. I will say that there's no question that one of the reasons I'm so emphatically in love with this game is because the Stalker franchise is one of my, if not my favorite franchise. I've played that franchise 5-10 times. I absolutely love it. So it's in a lot of ways, this game is like a love letter to Stalker fans. And it shows through everything that's in here. But no, like the problem is I think there's enough missing, unfortunately, for the general population to be relatively turned away. One of the things this game does so well, and the Stalker franchise has done so well, is immersion. And one of the main reasons they were so immersive was because of their phenomenally crafted A-Life system. What that system does is it's basically like a DM in a D&D game. And while you're off doing whatever you're doing in the game, the DM is looking at all the zones in the game and playing this metagame, even if you're there or not. Enemies are always in the world and running around. Different factions are vying to take control of different regions, setting up bases, attacking each other, actually vying for territory. A phenomenal system. They did not get that system fully implemented in this, and it is so not implemented to the point to where they had to stopgap fix it by using this weird radius spawning system. And that is where people are seeing like packs of enemies drop on their heads. They're running in a straight line and have been for 10 minutes. And all of a sudden a group of enemies is directly behind them shooting at them in an open field. And it's the problem. The biggest problem is that it is literally counter to what makes the game so special. They have taken one of the most immersive games and have put in one of the most unimmersive mechanics possible for one of the core features of the game. And it's created this dichotomy that I think most people just don't want to play. They don't want to participate. And unlike me, they don't have that anchor in the soccer franchise keeping them there. So they're just like, I'll just come back later. I will deal with this later when it is a somewhat, because a lot of people, the way that it is right now is literally unplayable. Like they can't, the game's not doing what it's supposed to be doing. And that's totally valid. So I know a lot of folks, that are like, they played the game for a little bit. They either realized the A-Life stuff was messed up or got, in some cases, to breakable bugs and just huge issues, and they just stopped. So that's the main thing. The second thing is, though, and this is important, is this is not a traditional first-person shooter adventure game. This game is designed to be a more sandboxy, open experience, and you need to want that. You need to want to have that experience. So many people had paragraphs up on Twitter about why they'd been playing this game for 10 to 20 hours and just lost interest completely. Glad, Gold Glove, like all these people putting up well-written tweets where they're just like, I tried to like this game. I wanted to like this game, but I just got bored because I didn't know what I was doing. And that's the thing. That's kind of what happens if you play this game and you don't have any long-term goals. You're not invested in the story. Like it does become this weird, like weight management simulator and you're not really sure what's going on or where you're going. So that's another big thing about this game is that the Stalker games have always been kind of niche and unique. And if you try to play them like not necessarily a Call of Duty, but a more story narrative driven adventure, even though this game does have a very cool narrative, the best the Stalker franchise has ever seen, it is not comparable to what you get from these other games in terms of the experience. Yeah. And that's been another schism. That we've been seeing. So I think that kind of was a long-winded answer to your question, but I think that's why you're seeing like fewer people be into this and some people like me being really into it.
Yeah. Like it
exactly what we like.
That's what, Dan said the exact same thing last week where like I played the game for 2 hours on a sponsored stream, bounced off it for the exact reasons that you said. And when I was done, I was like, this is a Cohh game. Like that's the first thing that went through my brain. And I was like, I'm not going to enjoy it, but I know Cohh's going to enjoy the shit out of this.
Yep.
So, I moved on. There's nothing wrong with that. That's just how it is.
Fun bug.
Happened? Yeah. What just happened right there? You just
what's going on there?
Into the room and everyone started
There's
shooting.
There's a door with a grenade trap. And I opened that right before this save, and inadvertently, when the grenade damaged one of these guys, we're all sheltering in here during an mission.
Okay.
So the grenade periphery, I guess, counted as my damage, but it took a little bit of time to register, and I saved right after. So I kept getting the situation where I'd load, and all of a sudden this guy would be like, "Hey, you!" and just start shooting at me because I just blew him up. So little stuff like that is very much in the game. The game is not super buggy, but it absolutely has bugs. The general experience, I'll run into like a medium to minor bug, like 1 to 3 times an hour, but it's, a lot of people have been like, oh, it's the buggiest thing ever. Not really. Like a lot of the game works really well, and works fine. And I've gone hours without seeing any bugs. But of course it also has, it had quest bugs and NPCs not going to the right place and breaking quests and those types of bugs, were definitely here, but
yeah. Cool.
Thankfully they're addressing them. So,
are you like, how far in the game are you? Do you even know?
So I am 50 hours in, but
Yeah.
I'm a little, from what I'm understanding, I'm a little less than halfway through the main story.
Wow,
But
okay.
that mainly has to do with the fact that like whenever the story takes me to a region, I do everything in that region.
Got it. Okay.
So like I go to all the waypoints, I just run around randomly. I do quests for the hub to try to get their faction up, that kind of thing. So
Yeah.
I'm very much doing a completionist playthrough, which is why it's taking me this long.
Yeah. It's a big game, even just looking up at the map in terms of the size of that and knowing how small you are in that world. I can tell you it's going to be a massive fucking game. So
Also, somebody brought up the really good point, and they said, Cohh, the second half of the game was where all the bugs were. You didn't hit that part prior to the big patch. That's true. And I'm very hopeful that I, by taking so long, may have avoided some of the worst issues that people dealt with. I don't know that, and people are still saying that, especially in saves started on the very first day, that a lot of these issues still persist. So I'm kind of holding my breath and hoping I don't get some of these big bugs, but there's a few I'm aware of that I know if I hit are going to influence if I want to continue the playthrough.
Oh, really? You'd stop it wholeheartedly.
Dude.
Okay.
There's one.
I'm just wondering, like, how long before it'll be playable for someone who doesn't absolutely love the Stalker franchise?
Hopefully pretty soon. I mean, the 1.01 patch was a big step in the right direction. They fixed, like, I think over 300 different things, and they did rebalances and all sorts of stuff. So hopefully pretty soon. But the A-Life system, that system I was talking about a little bit ago, modders have said pretty directly that through looking through the files, unless there is stuff that they haven't put in the files yet, it looks like big parts of the A-Life system are missing. So that could mean that we may be in for a longer haul for that system.
Yeah, that's the main thing that I've been hearing from everybody, and the main thing that, like, because this looks intriguing to me. It definitely does. Like, it's the draw for me is what people are saying. It's not like your typical FPS game like that. It's more slow, more methodical, and that is definitely, like, words that are me, you know.
So you know, it's one dude.
Definitely am
Stalker
interested in playing it. I just want that shit, that A-Life shit. That sounds so fun to be fixed.
Yeah. The previous Stalker games, especially Clear Sky, when the A-Life system worked, it was awesome. I mean, you would be like literally in the ass bottom of a dungeon that you've been in for an hour, and you're pulling up your PDA, looking at your faction fighting 3 zones away as 2 little dots are running into each other. And you're like, oh, please win. Please win. I don't want to have to come out and defend that point. Please win. And you're like, and then all of a sudden you'll see like one of them disappear. And all of a sudden the base gets taken over by your friendlies. And like, yeah. And then you can keep going back and doing what you're doing. Or you'd have to truck your ass out and go defend your side, which was actually really cool. Like the whole thing worked really well. So it was a pretty amazing system. And hopefully they'll be able to recreate it in Stalker 2. A lot of people have kind of erroneously said like, oh, well, they already did it in the previous game. They can just do it in the new one. No, because the new one's Unreal 5. And Unreal 5 does not do things the same way that other engines do.
Yeah.
So they have to come up with an entirely new way to do what they did before, using entirely new constraints that maybe were not present in the previous stuff. So it is a different situation. Is a different situation. For those saying it's basically an unfinished game, there is an argument for that, especially with A-Life missing, because that was a core component of the previous games. That's one of the reasons I can't blanket recommend Stalker 2. As you know, I'm having one of the best experiences of my gaming year in this game. I still can't just say go out and buy it. You know, it's the same reason I couldn't like blanket recommend Baldur's Gate 3 after seeing Act 3 state when I first played it through. It's just, you know, like there's a difference between a finished buggy product and an unfinished product. And that's kind of the state this is in. This game, I can already tell that this game is going to go through a Cyberpunk 2.0 style renaissance when the A-Life system gets in.
Yeah.
It's going to change the game that much.
Yeah, I guess just wait till that then, Zeke. That's your answer right there.
just to answer what you were saying earlier, there is one particular known issue where there is a major encampment in the game. And I'm literally about to say everything I know about it. I don't even know what the encampment is, who it is. I have the non-spoiler version.
Oh.
There's an encampment in the game that you get a mission to defend, and you can, like, one guy said he spent 3 hours meticulously making sure that every single person was down. He got the achievement that he defended it. Everything was great. And the second he got far enough away, he got a radio message that it had fallen and everyone had died. The problem is that hub continues many quests in the game.
Oh,
and those quests continue like with different steps and go to different regions and stuff. So I will say that if I get to a point in my game where like I confirm lose like major quest givers and I know that giant lines are cut off, like that's gonna, I may have to kind of stop there until that gets fixed.
My chat erupted with, that happened to me. Very fun. That mission got fixed in the latest patch. I was waiting for the fix. Yeah, that happened
That's
to me
what
as
I'm hearing.
well.
So a lot of people are saying,
yeah,
a lot of people are saying that the 1.01 patch fixed it for them, and there are others who are confirming that it didn't.
Yeah.
So like I just don't.
Seems
I
kinda
just
all
get
over
to
the
get to
place.
that point and see what happens. So yeah, we'll see what happens.
Yeah, cool.
I mean, let's be real. I'll finish it regardless, but like how the playthrough is going to continue. If I get to that point, I may just like beeline the main story and then come back for 100% later.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah, the main reason why I'm asking is because December's notoriously the cleanup month for me of like,
Oh shit! Thank you.
what games should be on the game, like might be eligible for the games of the year list.
Yeah, great fucking
Yeah.
segue because we have 15 minutes, and we got to figure out what the goddamn categories are.
Man, I gotta go at 4 today. So
we could do this quick because I feel like
Okay.
last year we were pretty happy with the categories.
Hey, Ziz, how you feeling about our Game of the Year episode?
Yeah, Ziz, you liking it? You
Love
want-
it. Awesome.
Great.
Great.
Well, he got a new hot dog
excellent.
from the last game.
He
Wow,
says
he's
it's-
just
Oh,
down
look at
those
that.
things.
Yeah,
Excellent.
Great.
We
hot
got
dog.
Kobayashi over here.
Yeah, it's new fantastic hot dog. Okay, so these are the categories that we had last year. I'm going to rattle them off. If you want to cut one, say cut it when I read it. If not, just keep quiet. It's a very democratic and proper way to do this.
First thing we should discuss:
Oh,
DLCs.
I mean,
No,
it's the same rule we've
there's no
always had.
discussion.
Yeah, we've
Yeah,
always
it's
had
not
the
a
same
discussion.
rule. Always
We're
same rule.
we're
Just making sure.
gamers. We
Just
know how
making
this
sure.
works.
That's all I'm doing.
Yeah, come on now.
Okay.
Yeah.
The DLCs are not allowed to be games of the year.
Of course not.
Yeah.
No.
Okay, so our categories: favorite new IP, favorite multiplayer, favorite writing, favorite art style, favorite music, favorite sound design, favorite character, favorite performance, favorite moment, favorite feature, biggest surprise, biggest disappointment, games we wish we played, which is a top 3, most anticipated game of 2025, top 3 games streamed, and top 10 games of the year.
Let's top 3 most anticipated.
Because next year's crazy. Yeah.
Next year's crazy. We got to top 3 that.
Okay.
Could you put that list on screen or no?
Yes, it's not going to be pretty, but yes.
Yeah, just a notepad thing. I just want to. I visual learner.
Yeah. I mean, do we want to, for games we wish we played, should we make that one just for the sake of time?
Sure. Yeah, that's fine.
Is that
Absolutely.
is that going to be too difficult to say one game that you wish you played?
Yes. but it's fine.
Well, for you, I mean, that's,
For me,
that's on
Well,
you.
we can,
man.
we can
That's
just
on-
we can
100%.
just make it like
Yes.
like we can still do top 3. We just have to make a conscious effort to make that fast
yeah.
and
Okay.
just don't talk about it a lot. Like these are the games that I didn't play that might have made my list but didn't because I didn't play them. Blah 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 blah.
Yep. Okay. There's the full thing. I can make it bigger too if you want. I don't really have any big.
I think it worked well last year.
Yeah, I don't really have
That's
any changes for me.
Yeah.
I don't think there's anything I want to add. I'm just scanning chat. If you guys have any recommendations or anything like that, throw them out. But yeah, I thought we were pretty good with last year. Same rules as always apply, and will probably be broken because we make the rules, but we also break them. No early access in top 10. No DLC in top 10. No, a DLC also means expansions in the sense of like.
Should we have a category for DLC expansion? Yeah or no?
But then that's just that's literally just like congratulations Erdtree.
Yeah, I was gonna say, were there any other ones besides Erdtree that are?
Dawn Trail.
Honestly, that's why I opened it up because like you guys play more of the
I don't
expansions than I usually only play core games anyways. So.
I don't really think we need a. I mean, there's Factorio
there's
DLC.
Diablo 4, there's Alan Wake DLC, there's the WoW expansion, there's
Phantom Liberty
Factorio
wasn't this
patch, I guess.
Factorio Space Age.
Yeah, that was an expansion, right? That wasn't a patch.
I don't even know. I don't know if I'm going to be able to get to that before the game. Well, maybe actually. We'll have to see. But I would be the only one to consider that, I think.
Favorite combat.
Actually,
could be
between.
Never mind. The top 3 stream games. I was like, do we have that before? But it's on there still, so we're good.
biggest surprise. Hey, can we say biggest disappointment? We can't put Concord there. Biggest disappointment that's not.
I don't think it was around, and I don't think any of us cared enough to be disappointed.
Okay, good.
Yeah, I
good.
didn't expect a lot from it, so I can't be
Yeah, like,
disappointed by it.
Good.
I see them more of a non-issue than anything.
Yeah.
Great.
Sounds
No,
kinda
biggest
brutal,
disappointment
but-
is something you had some hope for,
Exactly.
and you got let down.
Yes.
Yeah.
Concord was
Exactly.
like 5v5 shooters. I haven't cared about that since Overwatch 1. So yeah.
Yeah.
If you want to put it on there, JP, you definitely
No,
can.
no. The idea of putting it is chat saying the Concord Award. Do we want to solidify that?
No, I think the Concord Award wouldn't be disappointment. I think Concord Award would be like the biggest loser.
Or biggest failure or
year.
something of the year?
Yeah. Because we stopped doing that. We did that a couple
We
years.
did that a
and we were
couple
like,
years, yeah.
it's so negative though.
That's
We
right.
kind of took it off the list.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm okay with this. I don't have any changes. If you guys don't have any changes,
Yeah,
we
no,
can
this
lock it
looks
in.
good to me.
Okay, cool. Barry, there you go. I'll send it to you. I think that means we will get the community poll up sooner than later so we can have those running. The second question for you guys, when do you want to do our Game of the Year show? Do you want to do it the first Sunday of January, which would be the 5th? Do you want to do it on the 1st, which is a Wednesday? Any strong feelings?
That's fine.
Oh, not on the first. Let's do the regular show day.
Regular show. Okay, the 5th.
Yeah.
We'll do it January
Yep.
5th then. 1 p.m.
This
Eastern.
sounds good.
Yeah, great. There you have it. Easy peasy.
Somebody.
No, let's do it December 13th. So we're like, you saw the awards last night. These are the real awards.
Oh God. Oh
I do
God.
like that.
Chosen by gamers for gamers.
Yeah, jeez. Imagine if Elden Ring.
That
wins.
play video games.
Yeah, imagine if that wins. Imagine
Yeah,
if that
not on journal difficulty. Okay.
Good Lord. Zeke, being conscious of time, I don't want to just end the show. What have you played the past week that you want to just mention real quick? Or perhaps we save it and we talk about it at length. Let me be honest with myself for 1 second. Do I want to do a show next week? Yes. But PoE 2 is a game that I will probably be into.
And World of Warcraft, which you need to keep up, or your
yes.
channel
Dude,
will
it's
be
up to
deleted.
you, man. I
That's
mean,
correct.
we can just chat and you can play PoE. I'll find something to play while we're doing that. We'll just bullshit about stuff if that's what you want to do.
Well, the other thing that's going to be hard is finding someone to come on the show because, like, PoE 2 is like, I don't know a streamer that's not, for a lot of reasons. I don't know a lot of people.
We're gonna have to find someone who plays games like I do.
Right. But it's even harder because if they're not playing PoE 2, they're playing WoW Classic. And if they're not playing WoW Classic, they're probably playing Marvel Rivals. And if they're not playing Marvel Rivals,
Then what are you doing with your life?
what are you doing?
What are you doing?
That's like we're gonna have
Working? Parenting?
No, we can't have Krindor on, guys, because Krindor is doing hardcore. Dodger and Jesse are playing Path of Exile. Like,
Wait, what?
yeah, that's right. That's what I'm saying.
Indie game streamer.
That took me a second. I was like, wait, who?
Yeah.
No, I'm saying like if you fire up PoE 2 and I fire up Infinity Nikki, we can just play.
That also comes
Max!
out on the 5th.
You can call Max! Wait, no, he might play Marvel Rivals.
He'll probably try PoE, won't he?
Think so? Is Max doing PoE?
I would.
I don't know if I...
Given
maybe.
their sponsor stuff, I would think he's probably
maybe.
sponsored
Yeah,
for it.
he'd probably be a perfect target for that. Yeah.
Bree is actually starting Mass Effect, Zeke, so we could bring her back on and have her gab about Mass Effect while I play PoE. That might be. That might be kind of a good run.
Dude, you want to play it? Just take the week off. It's fine, baby. I get
We'll
you.
see. We'll see what happens.
Okay.
I do want to. We need to get a fucking VTuber on the show. It's time. We need to talk to a VTuber about VTubing. We're behind the times. We're three old men on this platform, and we need a VTuber on this show. So I will make that happen.
Yeah, no, I definitely have questions for VTubers, and I really don't know any of them like in that, like, I'm not familiar enough with any VTubers that I felt I would feel comfortable asking questions about VTubing.
Bruce was supposed to hook it up, but it did not. That was a failed communication line for some reason. So,
dude, we're not gonna fucking get Iron Mouse. Stop putting that in chat. Like, there's no fucking way that.
I mean, I don't think it's that out of the question. I think Iron Mouse.
You don't think so?
Yeah, I think she'd be down. I have lines of communications to her, I would think, through Scoots.
Okay.
It's possible. I don't know. But anyways, that'll happen.
No, I thought she was like out of our echelon.
I mean, she might be, but yeah, she might be. Anyways, we'll have that at some point. And I'll let you guys know about that. Zeke, 2 minutes, 3 minutes on something. I feel bad if we're just like, and that's the show. And Zeke's.
No, I figured, no, I was on vacation and you had Ziz on the show. Like, I figured I'd just be here to, you know, and I must say, I probably impressed a couple people with the questions I had.
Yeah, that's great. He did say good question.
But no, because I was on vacation, so like I didn't play much, but I did play. I didn't talk about Manhunt. I played that for a 100-month sub stream. And I didn't realize, like, Manhunt, the game from 2004. So it's a 20-year-old game that had a lot of controversy about it because it was super gory. It was very graphic in how you like killed people. Like it was like too realistic, even for like the Mortal Kombat crowd, because it was like not many people can like reach in and grab someone's heart and pull it out and show it to them, or grab someone's neck and pull off their head with their spine still attached. Like, that doesn't happen.
Yeah.
However, people get prison shanked by shards of glass. Like, that could happen.
Yeah.
You know, like, by shards. That's why Manhunt was so visceral and so like different from a lot of the other games that came out anywhere near that period.
Right.
And only recently in the past decade have games come out where they show like it's more realistic in how the thing, like the bones would break or the blood would come out or whatever.
Yeah. So
Manhunt was pretty revolutionary as far as that goes. And I don't know if anybody else watches shows like Supernatural, where when you hunt a vampire in Supernatural, that shitty show. Yes, I'm a fan. They like chop off someone's head in like one clean slice, and it's like, there's a lot of bones you have to go through there. Like in Manhunt, every decapitation you have to chop 3 times to get that fucking head off, and it's like, oh my god, that is brutal, you know. Yeah. But I think that's why Manhunt got its reputation. But also the reason why a lot of people like I was like, I don't think I ever finished this game. And I remembered exactly why, because I didn't finish it again. I was like, this game is fucking great. It's stealth, it's brutal, it's bloody, it's all the things. But then halfway through the game, they switch it to a shitty third-person shooter game. And they go completely away from the, I don't know, charm of like the first half of the game, which is like hiding in shadows, waiting for them to pass by you, coming up behind them, choking them to death with like a garrote wire, or suffocating them with a plastic bag or something like that. Like, that's the power fantasy. That's why you like the game, if you like it. But then it's like halfway through the game, it's like blam, blam, you're just shooting fucking people, and it's like, goddamn, why would you do that?
It's probably the case of like, hey man, Gears of War is a really big game. That's a third-person shooter. What if we had something like that in this type 2?
Yeah, no, it was like a shittier version of like GTA or Max Payne without the cool like bullet time.
Yeah.
You know, it was like that. And I'm like, man, that's not why I'm playing this game. I'll play Max Payne if I want to play that, or GTA. I'll play those.
Yeah.
But like the first half of the game is still like, oh my god, you're just like you take a garrote wire and you like saw someone's head completely off. You're like, oh Jesus, that's brutal. Oh my god. And you do that. Like to this day, I'm like, oh, I forgot. That is awesome. And now like we're a little bit more desensitized these days with like the brutalities and shit of like Mortal Kombat, where you take an X-ray inside their organs and you see like bones breaking and hearts exploding and shit like that. But back then, man, that was, even with the graphical limitations, it was still like, oh my god, that's crazy.
Yeah.
But like I said, the first half of the game was super duper fun, and the premise was great. and then they just fuck it up at the end. So what we ended up doing was watching a speed run of it to see what happens at the end. And there's one part of the last part of the game that I'm sad that I missed, which was like, it was like a boss fight with this guy with like a pig mask and stuff like that. Like that was one of the parts that I wish I would have played through, but like the rest of it was just shooting McShooting, and it was terrible. But for the first few hours, it was great.
Fantastic.
And that's all I played. That's all I played and didn't talk about. Oh, I also actually checked out, not a lot of people will care about this, but I was a Kickstarter backer for, I played Use Your Words, which is like a group game that we play. Use Your Words 2 is going to come out, and I was a Kickstarter backer, so they sent me a beta code that is not like publicly available to anybody who's not a Kickstarter backer. And I played that, and the new game modes and the new audience participation shit, fucking wow, it's really, really good if you like playing group games with your chat and stuff. They made a lot of really good improvements to it, and it's fucking hilarious still. So
awesome. Cool.
Those are the two ones I wanted to talk about.
Yeah, all I've been doing is WoW Classic, and it's still the same game that they put out 20 years ago. So I don't have anything. I did die, though. I guess I could say that. I did die on a 38 Hunter because I forgot to press F, and it happens. So re-leveling, and that's kind of the plan till PoE launches. So that's our show. We wrapped it up right on time. It's 3 o'clock. We're done.
Yay!
We're wrapping it up. Let's do some shout outs here, and we'll call it a show. Because I gotta go to a guild meeting, or I'm gonna get kicked out. Zeke, please, shout outs.
What is up, everybody? Thank you guys for watching. Thank you to Ziz for Zizaran for being on the show and talking that PoE. Even though people think like, oh my God, Zeke must be bored. It's like, I love this shit. I love this show. I love listening, even when I'm not like, I don't have anything really, invested to say in it. Also, I want to give a thanks to Cohh and JP as always. My name is Ezekiel the Third. You can find me @ or / Ezekiel_III on Twitch, Twitter, and YouTube. Take Mondays off, so I'm off tomorrow. And I'm going to take tomorrow to decide what I'm going to play on fucking Tuesday, because I have no idea what I'm going to play on Tuesday. I haven't thought that far ahead. I do have a couple of candidates. And one of them is a game called Orginizer, which I heard was pretty fun. And it's actually a Twitch integration game about an orgy.
Oh boy,
so that might be fun. Might do that for a day.
Okay.
But I also have games that I need to check out before the end of the year for the Games of the Year show. Let's see. It looks like Unicorn Overlord, Closer the Distance, Tales of Kenzera Zhao. Like, there's a few games on my list that I would like to check out before the end of the year. So look for those coming up. Thanks for watching.
Fantastic. I was making a Cohh shout out card here, and we did an okay job in the.
Oh, and Silent Hill 2 is on the list too, as well. Yes.
Oh, there you go.
I
almost
thanks for watching.
Before
my name is Cohh. You can find me at Cohh Carnage. I'm late and have to go, so thanks for being here. Bye, everybody.
Bye. Fantastic. Thank you so much for being here. That's it for the show. Thanks everyone so much once again for watching. The VOD will be up over at youtube.com/itmeJP. You can drop a sub if you want to, and we'll let you know about next week. We'll see how it goes with PoE 2.
Oh shit!
Stuff.
You can go.
I have
but
to
before,
go. Bye.
Yeah, go. Before I go though, next month, January, CD-ROM-a-thon.
Oh, there you go.
If you guys want to send me your CD-ROM games to put them in the mix for voting, in January, that's all I do is play CD-ROM games from the first until the last day of January. So if you want to send them to me, my PO box or my UPS box is on my channel in the info section below the video player. So head on over, or you can put #UPS in my chat and it'll give you the address if you want to send me your CD-ROM games. So that's what's happening in January.
Sweet. Fantastic. That's it. We'll let you guys know about also Game of the Year vote stuff, because that will be happening from the community point of view at some point soon. But I got to get with Barry and see how that goes. So that's it for the show. Huge shout out once again to Ziz and his community for always being so awesome. Thank you guys so much for watching. Go check out the VOD if you want. For now, though, we're out, and we'll see you soon. Might be next week, might not. We'll let you guys know. Have a good one. Bye-bye.